Welcome back, guys. This is THEKINGofWEEBS here, and this is yet another what if. I was going to do this as a full story, but I realized it's a bit long, although it's only 10 chapters, but 4 chapters made about like 2 hours, 3 hours worth of video. So I was like, oh no, 3 hours and a half. So I thought maybe that is enough. Oh no, not 3 hours and a half, my bad, about 2 hours, yeah, exactly. And anyways, this is what if Naruto was trained by Hagoromo before the Chunnin exams. This is a fanfiction I found on fanfiction.net. This is made by Kagami 1228. This was published in October 18th of 2017 and last updated on November 15th of 2019. So it should be pretty up to date, as 2017 was the end of Naruto the anime as well. So anyways, I hope you'll enjoy this what if. There won't be any summary because there is no summary here. I mean, I could try find one, and I tried to find one and I couldn't find it, but it's pretty self-explanatory. No man, I found one. The story is called the Caged Bird. Hagoromo grew tired of the repetitive cycle. With the latest rendition of Indra and Ashura, the Sage of Six Paths decided to forcibly break the cycle himself. What happens when Ashura's reincarnation awakens the power through thought to be a myth? Let's find out. Anyways, this story begins in the Forest of Death arc and continues onwards. So you won't be getting a child Naruto before, because this is what if Naruto was trained by Hagoromo before the Chunnin exams or during the Chunnin exams. And anyways, my ducklings, you're all dismissed. Let's get straight into it. I've rambled on and off, and peace. Let's get in it. Let's get into it. My English. Also, don't forget to go support the creator. Link in the description below. Join the Discord server if you want. Link in the description below, and 100 likes for part 2. Anyway, let's get into it.
Chapter 1. The Bird's Liberation. It never stops. Well over a millennium, and it is still the same. Why is peace not attainable? Why must violence and warfare be the status quo? These were thoughts of a man who floated several feet above the ground in a lotus position. History books would call this man many names. The Sage of Six Paths, the God of Shinobi, and the Savior of the World, to name a few. Otsutsuki Hagoromo is his birth name, and he is the founder of Shinobi. He was the first person born with chakra in their body. His legend spread throughout the world as a myth due to its numerous, grandiose feats. Defeating the Jubi, 10 tails, before turning it into the moon sounds a little far-fetched, old man. A chuckle escaped Hagoromo's lips before he turned to the deep voice. The voice came from an enormous fox with 9 tails, red eyes, and a frightening disposition. Despite this, the sage didn't fear being in its presence. I cannot blame them. If I heard the stories, I would call them fairy tales too. Luckily, I was there for it, said Hagoromo looking at the fox. It was smiling at him cheerily. Hagoromo smiled as a byproduct. What is with the look, Kurama-kun? You're here. I knew you were too great to lose to something like old age. I did die to old age. Your body died. Your spirit is strong, and I can feel your chakra. You're not fooling me, spoke Kurama, getting a wider smile from Hagoromo. The fox's tails were waving excitedly in anticipation. You can spring me at any time there, Pops. You've been sitting there going through a monologue in your head for too long. Oh, I cannot free you, my dear boy. I am only an apparition. Kurama was shocked to hear this. Hagoromo frowned, seeing the fox's face. I wish I could. Sadly, you are stuck here for the foreseeable future. Spirit crushed. Kurama's hopes were high when its creator appeared. Hagoromo would unlock the seal, and Kurama would be free of its confines. Free from being inside one of these lesser beings called humans. Hagoromo was a human too, but he was half alien, so he didn't count. Then he said he couldn't help. No, you can do anything, shouted Kurama in disbelief. Hagoromo was somber, seeing the disappointment on Kurama's face. What other reason could you be here for then? To talk about what's been happening? Well, I've been stuck inside a human for the better part of a century, old man. not the best of times. I know, even if I could free you, said Hagoromo before turning his head. On the other side of the seal, a baby slept peacefully. Hagoromo smiled at the child as he continued, I'd kill that boy in the process. His life means more to you than mine. How I feel is irrelevant. The boy's life means something to someone. Do not be like that. How am I supposed to be? All I wanted to be was alone. Then he came and used those cursed eyes on me. After him, Ginger Lady Wife of Flower Boy sealed me, rambled Kurama, summarizing his more recent memories. When she was approaching death, she got a baby Ginger Lady to contain me. This plan backfired because another scummy Uchiha, possibly the original one, came and mind-fucked me. Again, Sunflower Guy had to lock me away. One half in the Shinigami and the other half in a chibi version of himself. Continued Kurama, before looking at the sage. Let's recap. Mindfuck, prison, new prison, mindfuck again, half my body locked away into the Shinigami's tummy, and prison once again, said prison being the most helpless thing on earth, a human baby. How am I supposed to be, old man? Hagoromo watched Kurama huff after its emotive statement. The sage allowed the weight of the fox's words to digest fully. Kurama had a point. Its summary was a pretty awful experience. An existence like this wasn't how Hagoromo meant for the beasts to live. Alright, I see your point. Maybe there is something I can do for you, said Hagoromo a minute after Kurama finished speaking. Kurama opened his mouth, but the sage stopped him. Not kill this child by freeing you. Seriously, no. Fine, take over his body and become the Jinchuriki. I'll be fine with this cage if you do. I'm not doing that either. Why would I want to redo life all over again? That, said Hagoromo lazily pointing to the baby, was terrible. I'm not doing it again. Besides, if another me wound up in the world, people would. The sage trailed off. He began thinking of the possibilities of another him in present times. Kurama watched its creator nod slowly before looking at the baby. What was that legend of the Rinnegan? Those who possess it would bring about world peace or world destruction. Yeah, but that's just a legend. Kurama blinked after its sentence. The fox realized where Hagoromo's thoughts were. No, you better not do this. Why not? What if the child grows up and abuses your power as your descendants did? Your eyes are stronger than the ones that have fucked me over all these years. You have a point. The boy could do that, said Hagoromo, walking over to the slumbering child. That's what you're here for, Kurama-kun. To make sure it doesn't happen. Hagoromo stood over the baby boy. He put a palm to the baby's head. He's the reincarnation of Ashura. I can feel it. I wonder what it'd have been like if Ashura inherited the full breadth of my powers. I decline. I hate humanity. I'll have this child destroy the world the first chance I get. You're right, it is a bad idea, said Hagoromo, shaking his head. It could end badly. Exactly, you old, so be it. Have the boy destroy the world if you want. Gigi, warned Kurama one last time. This reverse psychology stuff won't work. I'll do it. Oh, I believe you. This isn't a game. Kurama-kun, I respect your fear and understand your concern. However, every reincarnation of Ashura has done wondrous things for the world, spoke Hagoromo before channeling his chakra. I aim to jumpstart such things. Please watch over this boy for me like I know you will. He holds my very essence. Kurama said nothing. The fox could feel the chakra transfer beginning. A few seconds later, a white light expanded to cover the boy's entire mindscape. Real world, a crib sat neatly in the corner of a room. It housed the same baby Hagoromo and Kurama were looking at earlier. The baby slept soundly even as an older man kicked in the door to the room. The man was well into his 50s. His eyes were surveying it like the battle-hardened shinobi he was. Sarutobi Hiruzen was the man's name, and he quickly realized nothing was amiss. Everything was as he left it. Hiruzen knew what he felt. And if the only thing in the room was the baby, it meant it had to come from him. Is the QB breaking the seal? Thought Hiruzen, walking over to the baby boy. The baby's golden hair and whisker-scarred cheeks brought a smile to his face. You wouldn't let the QB loose, would you, Naruto-kun? Maybe he was going senile. He could have sworn he felt a chakra spike. And perhaps he did. However, seeing how everything looked normal, the old shinobi would pass it off as senility. What else could he do? 13 years later. You're not hurt, are you, scaredy cat? Two kunai stabbed deeply into a snake many times bigger than him. Uzumaki Naruto stood a few feet from his teammate, Uchiha Sasuke. Sasuke remembered saying those exact words to Naruto during their first real mission together. A mission that went awry and had them locked against two shinobi set out to kill them. Throughout their battle, Sasuke needed to save Naruto repeatedly. Naruto was unprepared for the actual dangers of a ninja, and Sasuke made sure to let him know about it. Naruto happened to return that gesture in magnanimous fashion. "Oh, you've grown up so interesting," said their enemy, a kunoichi from Kasagakure. Her tongue elongated before snatching up Naruto in a vice grip. The tongue was positioned in a way that showed the boy's belly. There goes the seal. 5 of the kunoichi's fingers glowed purple before she slammed them directly atop the seal. Naruto let out a silent shout from the powerful strike. 5 markings showed around his seal before Naruto passed out. The woman chuckled before launching Naruto away without a care. "Naruto!" shouted Naruto's other teammate, Haruno Sakura. She managed to launch a kunai that pinned him to a tree. "Sasuke-kun, Naruto might not be the best, but at least he's no coward." Those words from Sakura got the Uchiha to snap himself out of it finally. She was right, and more importantly, Naruto was right. He needed to stop being a punk. Sadly, they would find out later that they faced Orochimaru of the Sannin, one member of the trio of legendary Konoha shinobi. They were no match at all. While all this happened, a certain Bijou was panicking within its Jinchuriki. Naruto's mindscape. Kurama was a wreck. The fox sat shaking its head at its current predicament. "The second seal cut me off from the boy. Usually, this would be a problem." Naruto wasn't all that impressive a shinobi. Any real danger, Naruto relied heavily on Kurama's power to survive. Kurama had stopped all of the boy's near deaths. However, that wasn't the only thing Kurama stopped. A black and white chakra, settled in a yin-yang pattern, sat outside the fox's cage. This chakra was the essence Hagoromo gave Naruto when he was a baby. Since then, Kurama has kept the powerful chakra away from Naruto. The Bijou didn't want Naruto ever to garner access to it. Sadly, the seal from Orochimaru cut the fox off from his Jinchuriki. Kurama could no longer stop the chakra from flowing freely. "You finally got your wish, GG." Kurama watched the chakra slowly filter into Naruto. It melded with the boy's already powerful internal energies. "If he destroys the world you so wish to protect, it is on you." The Bijou could feel Naruto's body adapting to the Rakudo's chakra, and the fox didn't care to keep watching the metamorphosis. Kurama would deal with this when the time came. 12 hours later, pain, definitively, is a distressing feeling often caused by intense or damaging stimuli. Naruto had felt pain during his life. Most of those pains were physical, and Naruto always shrugged those off in a matter of minutes. The more damaging pains were always gone after a night's rest. Mental pain was a different story. This pain was something Naruto was not used to having. He couldn't remember having a headache. He couldn't remember having an ailment of any kind. The pounding in his head and the pulsating pain behind his eyes were shocking. He'd never experienced such stimuli. Images of another life assaulted Naruto's mind throughout the pain. The images were fleeting, but Naruto caught each one despite this. Some of those images included wild things. One moment, Naruto looked at a goddess-like woman and called her mother. The next moment, he watched his mother merge with a tree and turn into a beast with 10 tails. He fought alongside his brother, sealed his mother into the moon, and the beast itself into himself. Fast forward, he was sharing his chakra with the world and searching for peace and stability. He found love, had children, and lived a beautiful life. And as he was approaching death, he separated the beast's chakra into 9 beings and sealed the remnants in the moon too. An entire lifetime flashed through Naruto's head in a few seconds. The lifetime was an incredible thing to experience in the way he had. The pain in Naruto's head and behind his eyes abruptly stopped when the memories ended. Now over, Naruto found his senses. His sense of hearing was first. He could hear voices that didn't belong to his Chunin team. Someone should wake him up. "This is embarrassing," said a boy with black hair and a bored expression. "Shikamaru," thought Naruto before hearing another voice. "We could kick him." "Can I kick him first?" asked a portly boy with reddish-brown hair. "Ha, that's Choji. Stop it, you idiots. Maybe he has their scroll. We could take it while he is out," said a girl with platinum blonde hair. "How opportunistic of you, Ino," thought Naruto, feeling her kneel next to him. Naruto caught her wrist when she tried to check his person. "Stealing our scroll? You could have at least asked first." "Oh, Naruto-kun, hi. When did you wake up?" questioned Ino nervously, realizing she'd been caught red-handed. Cranking her seduction up to 11, Ino prepared to weasel her way out of trouble. This plan stopped when Naruto opened his eyes. "Oh wow, your eyes. They're different." Naruto's eyes were lovely to look at. A shade of blue that matched the bluest of ocean water. They were very expressive. If you looked at them, one could tell everything Naruto was thinking or feeling. Now though, Naruto's eyes were the opposite. Cold and emotionless. purple eyes with a tiny pupil surrounded by concentric circles. Ino couldn't turn away from them. The unbridled power within them wouldn't allow her to. It was like they were looking at her soul, and she was finding it hard to breathe. There's nothing wrong with Naruto's eyes. What are you talking about, Ino? Ino blinked, hearing her teammate. Refocusing on Naruto, Ino saw his eyes were their regular blue. A dopey look on his face got Ino to shake her head. Did I imagine that? I swear his eyes were purple. Ino was confused. Her teammates looked away, not hearing a response. Ino held Naruto's gaze. As his expression shifted, I didn't imagine it. What I saw was real. Naruto's blue eyes were the same, but they held something different. The infinite brightness was there. Something else was there, too. And having seen what Sasuke did earlier, Ino couldn't help but be curious. What happened to you all in here? 2 days later, Ino was livid. 48 hours passed, and she'd found out little to nothing about Naruto. The fact she'd been spending time trying to find out. Something about the dead last irked her. Those eyes and the way he looked at me after. Thought Ino, remembering the moment. Naruto hadn't shown either again since. He was the same. Naruto she'd always known. I know what I saw. Is he trying to hide it? And there she went thinking about him again. She was supposed to spend her time thinking of getting Sasuke to marry her. None of her focus should be on Naruto. However, her gossipy nature and her clan's aptitude at information gathering kept her hooked. It would until she figured out what it was all about. Sasuke's new power was given to him by Orochimaru. The same could be said for Naruto. Except, Naruto's power wasn't as evil as Sasuke's. It felt as if he was staring into my soul. Thought Ino, looking at the blonde-haired Chunnin. The purple eyes were firmly implanted in her brain. Where did those eyes come from? And how do I get him to kick his ass? Naruto. Shanaro. Ugh, forehead is so loud. Thought Ino, looking at her rival, best friend. The girl was hyped because her teammate was fighting. The same teammate Ino was thinking so hard about these days. Maybe this fight with Kiba will shed some light. Naruto can't beat Kiba. I'll have to pay attention now since this will be his only fight. Naruto stood on the arena floor with a far-off look on his face. He didn't acknowledge Sakura's cheer for him. Hagoromo or Naruto thought the Jinchuriki having a mental crisis. Memories were what made you. Having another man's memories gave Naruto some pause. Am I Hagoromo? Am I Naruto? Who am I? This thought had plagued Naruto since awakening 2 days ago. He didn't tell anyone about the eyes he held. The Rinnegan, according to his new memories. The Dojutsu was a step up from the Sharingan his teammate and sensei had. He would have told someone about them, but he didn't fully comprehend. It wouldn't do any good to show something he couldn't explain. So, Naruto kept shifting through Hagoromo's memories to find a way to, Oi, pay attention while I kick your ass. Oh right, I'm in a fight. Thought Naruto, dodging Kiba and his dog partner, Akamaru. The two came at him in a flurry of claws. It wasn't wise to get hit by that. I don't have time for this. You won't escape me this time. Gatsuga, fang over fang, said Kiba, launching at Naruto in a spin. Naruto closed his eyes before his Rinnegan came to life. He marveled at the potency of his chakra. Naruto picked an ability he could remember Hagoromo using and felt his body augment substantially. Ducking Kiba's attack, Naruto rose when the Inazaka was above him. Shurado, Asura Path, thought Naruto throwing a punch that hit Kiba flush. Kiba's spin stopped cold. Spittle flew from his mouth while he sat hunched over Naruto's fist. Kiba blacked out from the intense shock of pain. Naruto dropped the out of it Inuzuka, and he didn't get back up. Akamaru whimpered by his out-cold owner. Naruto turned his Rinnegan off and opened his eyes to look at his right hand. Naruto frowned, seeing scratches across it. I'm not as good as Hagoromo. This body needs work, thought Naruto with a plan to get better. Winner, Uzumaki Naruto, said the proctor of the prelims before he turned to Naruto. Hell of a counter, kid. I didn't know you could do that. Guess I got lucky, is all, said Naruto before heading back up. Naruto could answer all his questions at a later time. For now, he'd let his student bask in his success of passing. Currently, he was the sensei of 2 ninjas who reached the final stage of the Chunnin Exams. Oh, my cute little Chunnin. They grow up so fast, don't they? Thought Kakashi before giving Naruto and Sasuke patronizing pats on the head. Pats the latter didn't like much, and the former didn't pay attention to. While Kakashi was messing with Sasuke and Naruto, sharp eyes were looking at Naruto. Sarutobi Hiruzen looked even older as he donned red robes and a red hat to watch the preliminary fights. The last battle caught his eye. I remember that chakra. It was the same one I felt over 13 years ago. Thought Hiruzen, seeing the far-off look on Naruto's face. My boy, what happened to you in that forest? For now, Hiruzen would continue to watch the prelims. Like Kakashi, he'd be finding out what happened to Naruto too. Something changed within Konoha's Jinchuriki. What change? Hiruzen aimed to find out as soon as possible. Chapter 2, Finding Oneself. Staring at the clouds, Naruto walked through Konoha. A week passed since the Chunnin Exam preliminary fights. And in 3 weeks, he'd be facing off against a part of his brother's lineage, Hyuga Neji. There it is again. I keep thinking I'm Hagoromo. Then again, I probably am. Thought Naruto with his hands interlaced behind his head. Hagoromo's memories dominated his mind. Naruto is 13 years old. It would make sense that Hagoromo's lifetime would harbor more space. Naruto lived neglected because of his status as Konoha's Jinchuriki. There were 13 years of Naruto memories, and he suppressed most of those memories. The bijou within him was scary, and he was a reminder of the tragedy. He could understand the village's countenance thinking. From that perspective, in comparison, over a century of Hagoromo's memories were in his mind. The majority of those memories were scenes from a comic book. 100+ years trumped 13 forgettable ones any day. However, he'd come to the realization recently that he was both Hagoromo and Naruto. And neither at the same time. Hagoromo placed his power within Naruto. Somehow, his memories came with it. Maybe Ningendo, human path, has something to do with it. I am Naruto. I am in his body, and this is his life. Thought Naruto, reaching the outskirts of Konoha in his thoughts. He could see the moon in the distance as it was barely dawn. I'll have to still check on my Hagoromo's family. I wonder how they're doing. Stepping past the forest line, Naruto found the man he was looking for. A tall man with long, spiky white hair. This was Jiraiya of the Sannin. Jiraiya was a very powerful shinobi, one of the strongest in Konoha's history, and he'd offered to train Naruto for the finals. The Jinchuriki didn't care for the training. Hagoromo had plenty of techniques and abilities for Naruto to use. However, Naruto was all for Jiraiya's willingness to train him. The Genin would need a reason for his power and knowledge to skyrocket. He had access to one of the strongest chakras in existence, and that's not even counting Kurama. Naruto was already a world beater, but he didn't want the scrutiny from showing him off. Teachings from Jiraiya would help him avoid suspicions. The Sannin would claim all of his leaps in power as byproducts of his teachings. He'd done so with the fourth Hokage. He could do so with Naruto, and the majority wouldn't question it. The best thing Jiraiya gave Naruto wasn't his teachings. He'd fixed Naruto's chakra control when they'd met. Naruto was wondering why his chakra control was terrible. Even with his massive chakra, his control made his training feel pointless. Then Jiraiya removed the seal Orochimaru placed on him. The Jinchuriki forgot to remove it upon awakening in the forest. Naruto wanted to smack his forehead when Jiraiya told him that was why. He was more concerned with figuring out his newfound powers. Hagoromo's chakra began to shape Naruto's body after the seal's removal. The difference was night and day. If Naruto got a tenth of Hagoromo's powers down, no one in the Chunnin Exams would be able to best him. A tenth of Hagoromo's power would make him unbeatable to most of the shinobi world. Today was a surprise for Naruto. Jiraiya gave him something very valuable. A summoning contract with the toads he knew Hagoromo was close to. The Sannin didn't have to chuck him down a ravine to see if he could summon one. I don't like being on the other side of this, said Naruto, speaking from Hagoromo's memories. Hagoromo used to do crazy things like this when teaching his sons. Naruto bit his thumb and shifted through the required hand seals. Kuchiyoza, summoning, a plume of smoke later, and Naruto was safe atop the head of a toad. An irate toad with all 4 limbs, 2 on each side, on the ravine. Naruto nodded his approval at the power he could feel from the summoning. Jiraiya, what have I told you about summoning me in such places? Questioned the toad angrily. The toad jumped out of the ravine and blew a plume of smoke out of his pipe. The toad grunted, hearing no answer to his question. So, you're hiding now, yeah? I knew you to be cowardly, but I never imagined it was this bad. Ohio, Gama-san. Jiraiya-sensei didn't summon you. I did. The toad narrowed his non-existent eyebrows before picking his head up. Focusing on the speck on his nose, the toad had gasped, seeing the yellow hair and blue eyes. He looks like Minato. Is this his brat? Thought the toad, staring at Naruto. Getting over his shock, he decided to get down to brass tacks. 1. The name's Gambunta. Gamabunta-sama to you, kid. 2. Don't lie to me. Someone like you can't summon someone like me. And 3. Tell me where Jiraiya is. I know he has to be around here. Nice to meet you, Gambunta-sama. Allow me to introduce myself, said Naruto cheerily before flaring his chakra. Gamabunta recoiled at the strength of it. "My name is Uzumaki Naruto and I'm not lying. I summoned you." Gamabunta knew this was the truth. The boy's chakra was ridiculous. Naruto smiled before pointing off to the side. "And Sensei is right there." Gamabunta was impressed by the calm way Naruto responded. For as pipsqueak as the kid looked, Gamabunta expected pipsqueak behavior. It wasn't enough to garner his respect, but it was a step in the right direction. Naruto even showed him Jiraiya's location too. "The kid outed you, and you're still hiding, Jiraiya. Oh, you suck, Gaki," shouted Jiraiya, taking off in a sprint. "Don't run now, Suiten, Tepod armor, water style, liquid bullet," said Gamabunta before launching a massive ball of water. The water ball detonated and tore apart trees. However, Jiraiya managed to outpace it. "Yeah, you better keep running." Prepping a second water ball, Gamabunta fired it at the retreating Sannin. The toad knew he wouldn't hit Jiraiya no matter how hard he tried. It was the principle of the matter. He needed Jiraiya to K's no Maki, coil of wind. Gamabunta blinked, hearing a clap. A violent gust of wind hit his water ball. The ball sped up fast enough to catch Jiraiya. The Sannin wasn't prepared for the sudden change as it hit him in a watery splash. Jiraiya was soaked and crushed between trees as he looked up at Naruto and Gamabunta. "Why? How?" asked Jiraiya in and out of consciousness. "That's for tossing me down a ravine. You could have asked me to summon a toad, you jerk," shouted Naruto with a fist raised. Naruto felt the toad. He stood on shaking. Naruto stopped his yelling to turn to Gamabunta. "Everything alright, Gamabunta-sama?" "Gwahahaha. Oh, that's priceless," croaked Gamabunta with a deep belly laugh. Gamabunta took a webbed hand to his eye to remove a non-existent tear from it. "Oh, man kid, I haven't laughed like that in a while. That's number 2. One more, and I might take you on as an apprentice. One more, it'd have to be better than the last one. You synced with me after one look. The same as my previous summoner." Naruto's eyes widened at this information. Gamabunta nodded to him. "If you can, we'll share a drink, and it'll be the best decision of your life." You're a powerful summoning. I can feel it. I'm certain your loyalty lies with your summoners and I've been itching to tell someone this." "Anyway," said Naruto before looking at Gamabunta. Gamabunta stared at Naruto for several seconds before his pipe fell out of his mouth. "Is this good enough to be your apprentice?" Gamabunta-sama, "Yes, you pass. Welcome aboard," said Gamabunta robotically with a guffaw expression. "I'll get those drinks ready. Yatta, I might tell Jiraiya-sensei too and Hokage Gigi too. They deserve to know, don't you think?" Gamabunta didn't respond. Naruto perked up, before smiling. "Or maybe I'll keep them in the dark. I need more time before everyone can know. Anywho, I have to go, Gamabunta-sama. I will summon you for that shared drink very soon." Gamabunta watched Naruto jump off him and disappear into the foliage below. It took Naruto leaving before he snapped out of it. "Minato's kid has the Rinnegan. How is that even possible?" Gamabunta shook his head before dispelling in a puff of smoke. 1 minute earlier, purple eyes, giant toad, and some kind of wind attack. Thought a girl dressed in camouflage. She was scribbling in a notepad. It contained things she'd witnessed Naruto do. "I'm going to figure you out if it's the last thing I do. You can't hide, Naruto." The girl looked back up to continue her spying. The giant toad took that moment to return home. It vanished. Then where did Naruto go? Naruto hit Jiraiya of the Sannin with a powerful wind and water combination attack. The girl froze, hearing a voice behind her. She turned around to see Naruto holding her notepad. Naruto chuckled while holding up the pad. "I assume the stars are a rating. Kind of sad that's only a 3. Compared to the purple eyes getting a 5. He is a Sannin, you know." The girl said nothing. She didn't move either. She hoped a lack of movement meant Naruto couldn't see her. At the very least, hopefully, he couldn't tell who she was. Hey, Ino. Of course, he could tell who she was. It isn't that impressive since you had the toad helping you," informed Ino, grabbing her notepad from Naruto. She couldn't imagine how creepy she looked. She knew she needed to trudge on to remove the awkwardness. "And I'm biased. I like the eyes more. Purple is my favorite color. I had an idea. You wear purple a lot. And did you mean these eyes?" questioned Naruto, turning on his Rinnegan. Ino's eyes widened. The eyes confirmed what she saw a week and a half ago. "Sorry for making you go crazy. The prankster in me couldn't pass on such an opportunity to mess with someone." Ino was lost in the eyes again. The stark difference from his normal blue ones was jaw-dropping. However, she didn't miss what Naruto said. "I wasn't going stir crazy. You think I, the indomitable Ino, would ever fret over a boy Yes, you do with Sasuke all the time. HMPH, that's a thing with forehead. It motivates her to have a rival. Naruto smiled at the explanation. Plus, Sasuke-kun's my future husband. It's only right I fuss over him. And you being dressed in camouflage, hiding along the outskirts of Konoha, while writing meticulous notes about me isn't fretting over a boy. No, her tone wasn't believable at all as she smiled. Naruto called her out perfectly. Wait, when did he learn to talk to girls? It almost sounds like he's flirting, but no, it's Naruto. However, he wasn't the same Naruto. And now that she looked, his eyes were different. There's Tomoe in them. Now, 9 of them, 3 on each ring. Do they mean something? Yes, said Naruto, seemingly reading Ino's mind. My chakra was haywire thanks to my run-in with Orochimaru. Jiraiya-sensei fixed that. And yeah, my eyes are full power. Hence the Tomoe. That's why they feel so much more intense. Thought Ino before realizing something weird. Did Naruto read my mind? I'm the Yamanaka here. I read minds. There's no way he's reading my mind. A Yamanaka can have their mind read. It's pretty easy right now since you're crazy about me like you are. I'm not crazy. Ha, you're going to deny being crazy forever, are you? Questioned Naruto, getting Ino to nod. She then gave him a look that said, stop answering her. Thoughts? Naruto smiled again before nodding. Fine, you're not crazy. And I'll stop reading your mind. Thank you. I knew you were a good boy. Now the prankster in me isn't satisfied. I need people to think you're crazy. You're the only person who's seen the purple eyes. Naruto's smile shifted to an ominous one. Ino's eyes widened in fear. I was thinking about revealing these to everyone, but I'd much rather see you try to prove it. Instead, I'm sure you've told them you were going to do so. And he was right. Since seeing the purple eyes, Ino told everyone about Naruto's hidden power. No one believed her because Naruto was the same Naruto according to all of them. He hadn't even shown her his eyes again until just now. And he was letting her know he'd been aware of her intentions and planned to torment her further. Naruto, you better not, said Ino before realizing how close she was to him. They were only a few inches apart. When did she get here? Was she that mesmerized by his eyes? And why did he look taller than her now? Stupid thoughts. Time to get things straight with new Naruto here. Ino poked his chest sharply before giving him a stern look. I'm Ino, you're Naruto. I'm the boss. You're under me somewhere down there. And you're going to tell everyone. I can't be looked at as a liar. I'm not even lying. That's the point. Good luck, Ino-chan, said Naruto before vanishing. She could see a phantasm of him leaving. A series of after images captured his entire exit. They disappeared into the forest, but the images before her looked like she could still touch them. Something she tried only for her finger to feel nothing. I am going crazy. Ino looked at her notepad and dreaded the coming days. Naruto was the prankster king from hell and she was in his crosshairs. This is going to be difficult. 3 weeks later, Konoha Stadium. You look gross, Ino Buta. Quote. Ino. Quote. Ino. Oh, hey, Sakura, said Ino absent-mindedly before returning her eyes to the field below. She kept staring with a blank look until she felt a tapping on her shoulder. Oh, hey, Sakura. You already said that. Is everything alright? I did. Weird, but, yes, everything is fine. Are you sure? Questioned Sakura, looking at Ino's disheveled appearance. She had errant strands of her hair sticking up, bags under her eyes. And it looked like she hadn't put makeup on. Not that she needed it, but it was noticeable. Are you sure everything is okay? You look terrible. Quote. Ino. Oh, hey Sakura, said Ino for a third time before returning her eyes to the field below. Sakura looked worriedly at her friend before she heard snickers next to her. Next to her sat Team 8's equivalent to Naruto in ego, Inazaka Kiba. And he seemed to know what the problem with Ino was if his laughing was any indication. What's funny, Kiba? Do you know what's wrong with Ino? Here's a hint, it's an idiot with blonde hair. Idiot with blonde hair, Naruto? Questioned Sakura, getting more laughs. My teammate isn't an idiot. He may not be there mentally at times, but he's not an idiot. No, he's an idiot. That beat you with one punch. That beat me with... Wait, grumbled Kiba with his pride stomped on. Sakura smiled victoriously. Kiba pointed to Ino to get past the reminder of his one-hit defeat. Ino's been stuck on Naruto for the last month. Something about how he's hiding his true self since that Orochimaru thing. Ugh, she's still on about that. She got all of us to tail him for several hours. All he did was eat ramen and sleep, said Sakura with a sigh, looking at her friend. Then we watched him train that one time. The whole day was wasted watching him climb up and down that mountain. She's obsessed and won't give it up. Naruto's just Naruto. Sakura nodded before she turned to her friend. Ino's eyes were glued to the field. She saw Naruto and Neji facing off against one another. The proctor started the match, getting the crowd to cheer loudly. Neji should be strong enough to push you to show yourself, Naruto-kun. He was last year's Rookie of the Year, thought Ino with a small smile. The smile ended when she realized she said Naruto's name with an affectionate suffix. It was smooth too. Meh, it doesn't matter. I will expose you, Mr. Purple Eyes. Naruto versus Neji. Blue eyes stared at the sky while white eyes looked at the calm visage of their opponent. Neji was settled in his stance because the proctor started the match several seconds ago. Naruto, however, stood with his hands in his pockets and a dreamy look on his face. What kind of game is he playing? Thought Neji, not moving an inch. He wasn't going to rush Naruto. He felt superior, but Naruto one-shot the Inazaka boy during the prelims. He didn't want to find out if the same would occur to him. What could be going through his mind? Neji didn't know what Naruto was thinking. All he knew was Naruto had changed clothes since the prelims. A black jacket lined orange on the inside replaced his bulky, I saw one from before. A fishnet shirt on underneath that went into matching black pants and black shinobi sandals. His headband was nowhere to be seen, and left his yellow hair to hang loosely in front of his face. All the while, his hands stayed in his pockets, and his eyes continued to stare aimlessly upward. Is cereal technically soup? Neji blinked at the words from Naruto. Naruto brought his head down to look at Neji. He seemed like he was waiting for an answer, but Neji wasn't. Sure, he heard him right. There was no way he said what he said. What? Is cereal technically soup? It's gotta be, right? Questioned Naruto, turning to the proctor of the finals. A different guy from the prelims with a senbon in his mouth and an amused expression at Naruto's random existentialism. You agree, right, Genma-san? I can't say. I'm on the job. I'll let you know when this is over, replied Genma, getting Naruto to nod his okay. Sounds fair. It's a tough one anyway, said Naruto before turning back to Neji. He smiled, seeing the boy wait diligently. He's smart and patient. I like him. I don't like what he did to Hinataheim during the preliminary fight, but he's wise to not attack thinking I was unprepared. Thought Naruto, before deciding it was best to get this over with soon. He had better things to do, like figuring out if cereal was soup or not. Let's get to it. Cage, Bunshin, Shadow Clones. 4 Narutos phased into existence that all sprinted at Neji. Neji's eyes went wide because there was no hand seal, no warning, or anything to show he was using a technique. The clones were closing in on Neji as he activated his Byakugan. It doesn't matter how many clones you use. My eyes see everything, said Neji, ducking the attacks from the first 2 clones. The Hyuga spun and caught the other 2's strikes. Slapping their hands away, Neji dispelled them both with precision palms to the gut. The gentle fist is the greatest taijutsu in the world when paired with the Byakugan. You won't beat me with silly clones. I could. I don't plan to, thought Naruto, receiving the memories from his clones. It was a useful jutsu, and Naruto learned that on his own. How quaint. And thanks to those clones, Naruto knew how to beat Neji. I'm happy you dodged at the last moment, continued Naruto with his eyes closed. His Rinnegan came to life when Neji dispelled his last 2 clones. Naruto jumped into the action. And got you. Got me. You'll never touch me, said Neji, dodging Naruto's uppercut by the slimmest of margins. Exactly, thought Naruto, activating another of his hidden powers. Neji knew he'd dodged Naruto's punch. However, he felt pain on his chin before flying across the arena. Tumbling like a ragdoll, Neji eventually rolled to a stop. The crowd saw the mighty blow and cheered in applause at the surprise punch that landed. He hit me. I was sure I dodged, thought Neji, refraining from nursing his jaw. Tendo, Shiatsu, Deva Path, subjugating pressure, thought Naruto, using his gravity powers to hit Neji. A good thing Neji made everyone think he'd clocked him with his last-second dodges. Naruto turned off his Rinnegan and reopened his eyes. You still up over there? I got more left. I've been looking to test myself. I didn't think he hit him, but wow, the kid packs a punch. Thought Genma, watching Neji slowly get up. He looked back at Naruto to see him shaking out his limbs like he was getting loose. I heard he got training from Jiraiya-sama. 1 month with a Sannin, and he's toying with the genius Hyuga kid. Neji finally stood up and got back into his fighting stance. Naruto saw this and frowned. Neji's stance was noticeably weaker than before. His body wouldn't allow him to threaten anyone, even if mentally he could fight more. Give up. You can't continue, Neji, said Naruto with sharp blue eyes. Neji noticed the stark shift in demeanor at Naruto's statement. It wasn't carefree anymore. It looked akin to a grown-up scolding a child that was about to do something wrong. I want to win and will hurt you if you force me. Hurt me? You're the dead last of your class who got a lucky shot, said Neji weakly, trying to find some stamina. A second wind wouldn't come. He could still feel his bones rattling. How hard did Naruto hit him? I can't lose to you. It's fate. I'm a genius and, right, cut off Naruto, getting Neji's eyes to widen. Neji threw a reactionary palm, seeing Naruto standing in his face. It missed, since that Naruto was an afterimage. Give up, seriously. Neji didn't have to turn around to see Naruto's fist an inch from the back of his head. His hair and clothes were blowing forward. The wind blowing off the punch was fierce. No question he'd be out of it had Naruto followed through. Neji couldn't understand what was going on. You're the dead last. How are you this strong? I didn't let a label like dead last hold me back. Same as your teammate, Rock Lee, said Naruto, lowering his fist. He can't use nin or genjutsu, and he was the dead last of your class. I know you know he'd beat the majority of Chunnin in this exam. He could beat some Chunnin and Jonin if he were to fight them. Dead lasts can become amazing people, continued Naruto with a smile. Naruto took a few steps back from Neji before finishing his soliloquy. You shouldn't allow labels like that to hold you back, to keep you boxed into one train of thought. That's dangerous, and it's how you'll end up losing your life if this were a real fight. Neji heard Naruto's words and looked down at the ground in thought. Naruto's words reached his ears, but they wouldn't be heard. You didn't. Reverse years of thinking with simple talking. How dare Naruto try to talk to him like he could be better than him? It doesn't matter. Fate is fate. You're a dead last, that's in my field of divination, said Neji, turning around in a new stance with no signs of fatigue. 2 palms. Mizu no Maki, coil of water. Neji was a few feet from jabbing Naruto with the start of his technique. Sadly, it wasn't quick enough. Naruto's chest puffed up before he expelled a vicious torrent of water. Neji was covered wholly by the water wave. Neji's Byakugan allowed him to see Naruto's cold stare while he was in the water. The torrent carried the Hyuga across the arena and planted him firmly in the wall. Neji didn't move again, nor was he awake after the water washed away. What a jutsu. Winner, Uzumaki Naruto, said Genma, pointing to Naruto. The crowd looked stunned. Hearing Genma, the crowd erupted in cheers. Naruto smiled happily at the cheers. He ran out of the arena, blowing kisses and waving all the while. Naruto did stop momentarily before looking up at the cage's box. He knew Hiruzen was watching, and he gave him the biggest thumbs up ever before continuing his sprint back to the fighter's box. Cage's box. Hiruzen smiled, seeing the display from Naruto. The grin grew when he saw him throw him a thumbs up as well. A confident young man, isn't he? It would seem so. He has no reason not to be, wouldn't you say? Kazekage Dono? Questioned Hiruzen, looking at the blue-robed man sitting next to him. I would. A very impressive display indeed. Against a Hyuga no less, said the Kazekage with his sharp eyes watching Naruto. He turned to his contemporary and nodded, appraising Ly. Solid performance, and the water jutsu is advanced for one his age. I didn't know water style was that powerful here outside of the second Hokage. My student, Jiraiya, is teaching him. It seems to have produced great things. It most certainly has, if that's any indication. Hopefully, the rest of the matches are less one-sided, or the opponent takes their adversary more seriously at the very least. Hiruzen smiled and nodded. The two looked down to see the next match getting ready to start. In the stands, hell yeah, Naruto. Woo! Exclaimed Sakura in cheer for her teammate. Sakura was flexing her bicep. She held it with her other arm while a smug grin was on her face. It's going to be a Team 7 finals. I know it. Man, Naruto is a badass. I thought he got lucky against me, but he tore apart the guy who beat Hinata, said Kiba with a whistle. How good of a sensei is Kakashi? Kakashi sensei is good. Not sure about teaching, though. But remember, he's been training with Jiraiya-sama. Oh yeah, that guy's ridiculously strong from what my Car-chan says. How did he get so lucky? Stop it, shouted Ino at the back and forth between Kiba and Sakura. Why were they rationalizing this? I'm telling you, Naruto could do that before he ever met Jiraiya-sama. Jiraiya-sama didn't make him do anything besides the toad thing and conditioning. You all came with me to watch him. Yeah, we watched for 2 days and that's what we saw. It's not like we watched Naruto every second or something this past month. That'd be crazy. Ino frowned. I did watch him every second or something, thought Ino before dropping her shoulders. She was crazy. She was adamant about proving herself right. That'd take all the crazy away. It had to. I'll be right back. Bye pig. Later crazy. Ino ignored the nicknames and made a mental note to get both of them back later. Right now, she was on a mission and she needed to find Naruto. She needed him to set this straight. She wouldn't be able to deal with this any longer. I'm going to get you to tell everyone. If it's the last thing I do, thought the Yamanaka, making her way through the stadium. Naruto's prank had gone on long enough. With Naruto returning to the fighter's booth, Naruto trotted up the stairway with a smile on his face. He was going to win this tournament easily. There was no Chunnin here that could match him. He did feel bad about it. It seemed unfair. However, Naruto knew life wasn't fair. It is what it is. In his return, Naruto ran clean past the red-headed team from Suna. The boy didn't acknowledge Naruto at all beyond a stare. Naruto stopped and turned to the Suna Chunnin. Naruto tilted his head at Gaara before waving. Yo, mother wants to kill you. Mother, she's never wanted anyone's blood more. She's chomping at the bit. Why would his mother want to kill me? Thought Naruto before realizing who Gaara was. No way, Shukaku couldn't have, could he? Gaara watched Naruto gulp nervously. Gaara didn't care one bit about Naruto's apprehension since the blonde would be dead by the end of the day. That's what Gaara saw. In reality, he was looking at a 9 Tomoe Rinnegan. Genjutsu Rinnegan, said Naruto, diving into the Jinchuriki's mind. Seeing its chaotic state, Naruto shook his head. Man, I thought I was bad off. This is horrible. Naruto trudged through the boy's fragile mindscape. Eventually, Naruto found who he was looking for. A massive tanuki made of sand stood with loose chains around him, a representation of the flimsy seal that bound him to Gaara. The yellow diamond eyes of the bijou noticed Naruto's presence and looked confused at his being there. Shukaku-kun, what have you done to this child? Why do you speak to me so familiarly? I don't know any midgets, said Shukaku with a laugh. Facing Naruto, Shukaku launched a wind bullet that was quadruple the size of the boy. That should get you out of here. Gakido, Fujutsu Kyuin, Preta Path, blocking technique absorption seal, said Naruto, absorbing the wind attack. It didn't impede his walk at all. Shukaku recognized the technique before looking closer at Naruto. Shukaku's eyes widened seeing the Rinnegan. Once again, what have you done to this child? Why is he calling you mother? Old man? Questioned Shukaku, not getting any confirmation or denial from Naruto. The boy stood right before him and looked at him. Unflinchingly, there was no way his dad had returned. I know you died. Did you reincarnate? Answer my question, Shukaku-kun. What have you done to this child? Why are you tormenting him? What has he done to you? Questioned Naruto, only getting a shocked look from the bijou. Naruto continued to wait for an answer. Shunkin Edo, instant transmission. One last time, what have you done to this child? Shukaku blinked, seeing Naruto on his nose. The stern look was amplified by the samsara eyes that kept Shukaku frozen. Had he looked, he'd have seen a phantasm of Naruto traveling up his body to appear on his nose in an instant. Instead, he held Naruto's soul-piercing gaze. Shukaku-kun, answer me. I started Shukaku nervously before Naruto broke eye contact. Shukaku watched him turn his stare back to him in an I'm not finished with you fashion before vanishing from Gaara's mindscape. Has Gigi returned? There's no way. I must be hallucinating. Naruto continued to lock eyes with Gaara in the real world until he felt an unwelcome presence. Well, not unwelcome as much as untimely. He was in the middle of scolding his child, and she was ruining it. Naruto didn't want to punish his kid in front of someone. He wished he could because Shukaku deserved it, but he wasn't that guy. Naruto-kun, shouted Ino, finding her target. Seeing him locked in a staring contest with the Suna Jinchuriki was weird. You need to go tell O. Bad timing, said Naruto, appearing next to Ino. He wrapped her waist up in one arm and pulled her close. Ino blushed at the proximity while Naruto pointed at Gaara. Crazy guy thinks he scares me. We can't be here to disprove that once I release him from my genjutsu. Oh, speaking of disprove, the two vanished in a phantasm. The genjutsu on Gaara finished with Naruto scampering off after his threat. His words spoken, Gaara disappeared in a Suna Shunshin to prepare for his impending battle against the Uchiha. With Naruto and Ino, disprove, I need you to, continued Ino before realizing they weren't in the same stairway. They weren't in the Chunnin Exams stadium at all. They were on the other side of the village. Naruto-kun, how did we get to the Hokage monument? I have a form of teleportation, Ino-chan. It's pretty neat if I had to say, said Naruto, showing Ino the phantasm of them moving across Konoha. Ino saw her image stuck mid-speech. She didn't even notice they were moving. And I see you're still calling me Naruto-kun. I thought you weren't crazy about me. Quote. Ino blushed. realizing she continued saying it. It rolled off her tongue smoothly. She wouldn't let him go unquestioned either. When did you start calling me Chan? After you called me Kun in the Forest of Death as a joke. Now I say it since you've become obsessed with me. I think anyone would do the same in my shoes. Possibly, but not to this extent, said Naruto, watching Ino huff indignantly. He then took in her appearance, and his eyes softened. Maybe his prank had gone too far. Rinnegan, Rinnegan, my purple eyes are called the Rinnegan. Rinnegan, said Ino, testing the name. It isn't better than saying purple eyes. I like either. I wanted you to have the choice, though. Would you like to know what my purple eyes do? Asked Naruto, getting wide eyes from Ino. He could throw her a bone for the sleep she'd lost over him, even if she wouldn't admit to such a thing. It might help when you tell people and finally expose me. Naruto smiled, seeing Ino nod. Right then, the Rinnegan. I can see chakra, even the flow of it within your body. Primarily the 8 tenketsu, commonly referred to as the 8 gates. Naruto tapped each of the gates on Ino while he spoke. Some were in intimate places and worthy of a slap. It didn't help how enraptured she was by his words. She knew Naruto meant nothing shady by his actions. I could master any jutsu given time and use every element. You can use all 5 elements. There's more than 5, but, yes. You've seen wind and water, but I don't mind doing them again. I'll start with the basic 5. 4 clones appeared next to the Jinchuriki. Each Naruto turned to face off the monument before they clapped their hands. Ino watched each Naruto release a different element. Fire, lightning, water, earth, and wind flew out into the sky. Naruto turned back to the gobsmacked girl. I haven't even gotten to the Rakudo, 6 paths, yet. Let alone the other elements. Ino watched the Tomoe in Naruto's Rinnegan spin before she felt his chakra intensify. Naruto wanted someone to know all he could do. He'd been dying to tell someone. Ino would consider herself lucky because she happened to get to see the show first. She didn't realize how much he had to show. Sometime later, and that's about all I got. At least, without hurting myself unnecessarily, said Naruto while a black flame licked at his body. It wasn't hot or harming him. It covered him from head to toe until he turned it off and took a deep breath. Man, that felt good, getting that all out and remembering how awesome I am. I still got more. This body isn't ready for them yet. Naruto smiled heavily before turning to Ino. Thanks for being here, Ino-chan. I feel this weight lifted. I feel good. Quote. Ino-chan. Quote. Oh no, I broke her. Oh man, said Naruto, fretting over the frozen girl. She'd taken a seat a few minutes into Naruto's display. It lasted much longer than she anticipated. When he started to dive into the absorbing chakra, gravity manipulation, and mechanical body stuff, Ino's mind fried because he had so many more crazy things. She was out of there a while ago. Ino-chan, please snap out of it, pleaded Naruto, giving his best puppy dog eyes to plead with her. Only with the Rinnegan, his puppy dog eyes looked more frightening than cute. The look got Ino to scream in horror. Naruto smiled, seeing her moving again. Thank Kami, I thought I melted your brain. Ino held Naruto's gaze. The blank stare unnerved the Rinnegan wielder. Ino stared for roughly a minute before her hand moved to Naruto's face. Naruto raised an eyebrow. Ino-chan, thank you, for showing me all of that. I appreciate it. Ino's stare softened, and a grateful look replaced it. Naruto smiled again when Ino patted his cheek. How did all of this happen? Did Orochimaru do it? I've had it since birth. You can say Orochimaru had a hand in it. He helped me unlock my full potential when he beat me. Why did you show me all of that? What do you mean? We're not close, Naruto-kun. We're not even on the same team, said Ino, removing her hand. Her stare became curious. Other than graduating together, we don't have any other interactions. So why me? Why not Forehead? Or Sasuke-kun? You remind me of Hagoromo's lover, and the nostalgic feeling I get with your similarities to her is comforting. Thought Naruto in reply, seeing an image of the woman overlap Ino's face. Ino saw the fond look he was giving her. Ino blushed, but Naruto shook his head to keep her from making assumptions. He wasn't about to start liking Ino because she mirrored someone from Hagoromo's life. Just call it, well, I guess you could say. Naruto stopped speaking and turned sharply to the Chunnin Exams stadium. Ino could feel the temperature drop several degrees when Naruto clenched his fist tightly. What's wrong, Naruto-kun? I haven't been paying attention. You better not Shukaku, thought Naruto before turning back to Ino. We need to head back to the stadium. Something troubling is happening. Ino's eyes widened before she nodded her head. Naruto grabbed her hand before the two of them disappeared instantly. A phantasm of their route was the only thing marking their vanishing. Chunnin Exams Stadium, moments earlier. The next 3 matches all had someone with a passive fighting style. Shino, with his bugs, faced Kankuro the Suna puppeteer, Shikamaru with his shadow faced the wind user, Temari, and Gaara of the Sand went against his teammate, Sasuke. The first 3 of each match were very slow and methodical fighters. They would take time to finish their opponents or be finished in return. Being the first match, Naruto knew he would have plenty of time to return before his next match would happen. The only thing was, Naruto didn't foresee Kankuro forfeiting. That lessened the time between matches and could have been worse if Shikamaru did the same. The boy was about to until his sensei yelled that his mom would kick his ass if he didn't fight. He did reluctantly, pulled off a brilliant strategy after over a half hour of fighting before forfeiting when he had the win. He didn't have much chakra left, and he'd have to face Gaara or Sasuke next round. Neither would bode well for him anyway. The crowd didn't like that. Shikamaru's classmates didn't either. However, the judges loved his display and foresight. Gaara and Sasuke's match almost didn't happen too because Sasuke wasn't there. He appeared at the last second before he would have been disqualified. Their fight was much more engaging than the previous 2. Sasuke tore Gaara asunder with taijutsu that awed the crowd at its finesse and strength. Taijutsu he copied from Rock Lee after said boy thrashed Gaara during the prelims with it. While an impressive copy, Rock Lee's taijutsu was many times more potent, and Rock Lee ended up losing in the end anyway. Sasuke's copy wouldn't come close to what Rock Lee did. Something Sasuke knew when Gaara closed himself in a sturdy dome of sand that kept the Uchiha at bay. That was until Sasuke used Chidori, a ninjutsu that coats the user's palm in lightning to aid in its attack. A simple stab forward managed to reach Gaara himself within the dome. Gaara proceeded to lose his mind at the strike stabbing into him before all hell broke loose. A mass of Oto and Suna shinobi appeared. The Kazekage attacked the Hokage and trapped him at the top of the Chunnin Exams Stadium. A genjutsu spread over the entirety of the stadium and captured everyone, not an adept shinobi. Gaara's brother and sister, Kankuro and Temari, reached Gaara to get him to the middle of the village and have him terrorize it with his powers. Sasuke managed to stop them, along with some help from Shino and Sakura. Shino took Kankuro away. Shino's actions left Temari alone with her groveling brother, Gaara, still hurting from the Chidori. Sasuke was handling Temari easily until Gaara rejuvenated. His gourd moved to cover his injured torso. From that point forward, Gaara became an offensive berserker that began to bat Sasuke around. Sasuke was doing okay, but it'd be any moment he'd get caught cleanly by the unstable Jinchuriki. That was until a phantasm appeared that got Sasuke's eyes to widen. It looked like Naruto and Ino, but he couldn't be sure. His head was swimming from Gaara's earlier abuse. Sasuke-kun, are you hurt? Sasuke looked over to the girl helping him and saw it was Ino. Looking back, Sasuke saw the phantasm was gone along with Gaara, who'd been a few feet from body checking him once more. Sakura jumped over to Sasuke with the danger gone to ensure he was alright. Wait, where's Gaara? Ino smiled and turned deeper into the forest. Naruto-kun is handling him, said Ino, having seen Naruto take Gaara further away to subdue him. She smiled, knowing everything would be fine. With him here now, he's got Gaara, don't you worry. I believe in him. Sasuke and Sakura wondered where the girl's faith came from. And then Gaara's oppressive chakra was overshadowed by a much more potent one. It got the 2 from Team 7 to panic even more. Who is that? We could always go watch, said Ino, getting the 2 to hesitate. Ino didn't fear anything and went to where Naruto had gone. She wanted to see this match. The Yamanaka wouldn't miss it for the world. Chapter 3, Better Than Your Best. Naruto stared coldly at Gaara. His actual stare wasn't at Gaara since he couldn't be mad at the boy. His stare was at his creation, Shukaku. Stop this, Shukaku-kun, said Naruto with an icy tone. He was standing before the beast within Gaara's mind again. I won't ask you again. Shukaku stood frozen before shaking his head. Naruto could see the bijou getting angrier. Its chakra was rising. You may have my creator's eyes, but don't assume you can tell me what to do. You're not him. Naruto's face didn't change when Gaara jumped at him from Shukaku's outrage. Gaara took a swipe at him with his sand claw transformed right arm. Naruto dodged the claw before a black rod protruded out of his right sleeve. Naruto stabbed the rod through Gaara's claw and pinned it to the ground. Gaara knew something was wrong immediately. His chakra felt funny the moment the rod touched him. Another rod pinned his sand tail to the ground, increasing the funny feeling. The Ichibi Jinchuriki's volatile chakra stagnated with the second rod, and Gaara couldn't feel his mother. What did you do to me? questioned Gaara, turning to Naruto. Your mother isn't your mother. It's the bijou within you, Shukaku. Gaara knew the words were the truth. Naruto's eyes seemed to cut to the boy's soul. Every word was felt when spoken thanks to them. I know nothing of your upbringing. I can't imagine what life would be like if Shukaku-kun was allowed such freedoms with you in your mind, especially as he is. However, I can't allow you to rampage and do harm to anyone. My mother is Shukaku? Questioned Gaara, getting a nod from Naruto. That can't be right, can it? Gaara, kill him. Mother, kill him now. Gaara received a massive surge of chakra. Damn it, Shukaku-kun. This body can't suppress a bijou yet. Thought Naruto, watching Gaara explode in an enormous sandstorm. Shukaku stood in his full might a few seconds after the sandstorm calmed down. Naruto sighed in disbelief. It's never easy, is it? Shukaku looked down and saw Naruto bringing his thumb to his mouth. The sand tanuki stomped Naruto into non-existence with a heavy foot. The bijou laughed at being free once more. Ha ha ha, I'm back. Time to tear this place asunder. Kuchiyoza, summoning. Shukaku stopped laughing when an enormous toad appeared before him. Naruto stood atop the red toad, looking none too pleased with the bijou. Before him, he could see Ino arriving to view the battle with Sasuke and Sakura. He would need to be careful. Gamabunta-sama, I need your assistance for a moment. We'll have to be careful. My friends are in the area. Oh, it's you again. What do you need help with? Oh, hell no, shouted Gamabunta, seeing the Ichibi. Who did this kid think he was? Kid, that's the one tail. We can't. Quote. Right, said Gamabunta, having looked up in his warning to see the Rinnegan. Gamabunta looked back at Shukaku. The bijou had launched a wind bullet at him. Hang on, kid, I'm going to jump. Don't worry, said Naruto, sending out a gravity blast. It negated the wind attack with ease. I need to cook him. Sand becomes glass, and it makes him easier to bring down. You're a Mayabokuzen toad, so I'm hoping you can use oil. I'll bring the fire if so. You got it all figured out. Same as Minato used to, said Gamabunta, watching Shukaku ready another wind bullet. Gamabunta prepped the oil, before giving a verbal cue. Here we go. Wind bullet versus toad oil would likely stalemate. The toad oil, aided by Karura, a humanoid bird made of fire, easily trumped the wind bullet. Fire was naturally stronger than wind anyway. Aided by the toad oil from Gambunta, the firebird from Naruto pierced the wind bullet and blasted Shukaku in a fiery eruption. Goodness, did you even need me? Questioned Gamabunta, watching Shukaku burn. The bijou screamed at the red-hot flames coating him. From his neck down, that firebird avatar, Phoenix. Ah, Phoenix. That's easier to say. It could have probably won without me, said Gamabunta, watching the flames heat Shukaku's sand. As Naruto said, the wailing beast was turning to glass. What a way to defeat such a monster. I can probably send a water bullet that'd shatter him. If that's... Gamabunta trailed off when he couldn't feel Naruto standing atop his head. It was then the summoning noticed the small line in the air. It was a phantasm of Naruto shifting through the air. The boy stopped on the bijou's head. No, I was just free, shouted Shukaku, still burning. Naruto appeared in front of Gaara. The Tsunejinen sat exposed on Shukaku's forehead. He was fast asleep to allow Shukaku complete control. He couldn't stop Naruto's next move. Shurado, Asura Path. An axe fist sent the Ichibi Jinchuriki through the body of his bijou. Gaara rocketed down to the earth. The power exerted by the blow was enough to blow the flames out. Shukaku shattered like the glass he was made of now and destabilized. Glass shards and sand spread throughout the forest. I can't believe Shukaku-kun would do such a thing. Has the usage of Jinchuriki made him so violent and untrusting of humanity? Within Hagoromo, they were fine, spoke Naruto, floating down to Gaara's level. Naruto stood in the remains of the defeated Shukaku. What could have happened? Why the hostility? The Kyuubi Jinchuriki looked over at Gaara. The boy was bleeding from his head, but Naruto could see he would survive. He'd need medical attention soon, but otherwise, Gaara would live. He had sand armor on before Naruto struck him with his mechanically enhanced body. What do you expect? Being stuck within the confines of a human is degrading. Especially because they're nothing like Gigi, they abuse our power and treat us like simple tools. It's only logical we would develop negative feelings toward humanity, said a voice within Naruto's mind. It was Kurama, Naruto's bijou. Even when Shukaku realized you had the Rinnegan, it didn't matter. You aren't Hagoromo, and you never will be. I thought you weren't going to talk to me. How I'm a faux Gigi and all that. I still don't plan to. Because you are a cheap imitation of the man who made me, said Kurama, watching Naruto appear within his seal. Not wanting to look at Naruto's caring disposition, Kurama closed his eyes and settled his chin on his paws. He wasn't Hagoromo, but the look was the same as Hagoromo's. It was agitating how much it looked like he cared. I offered you some perspective since you couldn't figure it out on your own. Don't count on me saying anything again. I'm sure you'll come around, Kurama-kun. I'd stay to try to reason with you more, but I can feel the Sandemi is in trouble, said Naruto before turning around and walking away. Rain check on that. TCH, not a chance. Naruto smiled before vanishing from his mind. He had someone he needed to save. Chunnin Exams Stadium. Orochimaru-sama needs to hurry the fuck up. My nose itches, and I'm tired of holding up this stupid barrier. Thought a red-haired girl with brown eyes. Located in one corner of a large rectangle, she held her hands up to form a formidable purple barrier. This is keeping people from interrupting Orochimaru-sama killing his sensei. That one Anbu burned to death trying to make it through before it went up. Dumb piece of shit. The girl smiled before twitching her nose again. It seriously itched, but she couldn't move her hands, or the barrier would go down. The barrier was going down anyway, so it didn't matter. She could scratch her. Wait, what the fuck? Questioned the girl, realizing the barrier was slowly disappearing. The barrier vanished entirely, and she saw the culprit. Behind it, he had yellow hair and icy, purple eyes. Who the fuck are you? That's not important because I'm a clone, said Naruto after absorbing the barrier's chakra. What is important is information, and I don't have time to waste. Jigokudo, Mu no Kai, Naraka Path, Realm of Nothingness. The world went black for the girl, and she found herself unable to move. She couldn't speak either because her tongue was held by something she couldn't see. Instantly, the place illuminated to show Naruto standing before her. There was a red construct with 3 fingers pulling her tongue an impossible length from her mouth. The girl looked left and right to see her other 3 teammates, who helped form that barrier, all in similar predicaments. He captured all of us. As my clones told you, I don't have time to waste, said Naruto, looking at all of them. Which of you is the leader? None of them answered, but Naruto wasn't looking for a verbal response. Feeling chakra flow from the one with the orange mohawk, Naruto walked to him. Congrats, you tried to escape first. Ningendo, Kyukon, Human Path, Absorption Soul. Naruto placed a palm to the boy's chest before closing his eyes. A second went by before Naruto nodded and removed his hand. The other 3 saw a ghoulish apparition attached to his hand that he tossed away into the darkness. The 3 looked back at the boy and could see his body limp. Did he remove his soul? Thought the grey-haired one before Naruto turned to him. Yes, Seiken, I removed his soul. Doing so lets me see his entire life. I didn't like what I saw, so I kept his soul, said Naruto before walking to Seiken. He placed a palm on the boy's chest. I know from him that you're the leader when the 5th guy isn't around. Which means you likely have the information I want. Naruto did the same to the effeminate-looking boy. Thank you for the information. Naruto removed his hand with the boy's soul attached. Naruto nodded his head before looking at the 2 remaining Oto shinobi. The fear in them was palpable and justified. Naruto flung Seiken's soul into the darkness before prepping his departure. I'll be back for you too, said Naruto before disappearing in black fire. Naruto reappeared atop the Chunnin Exams Stadium from the mouth of a large head. The head vanished, and Naruto looked across the destroyed roof. I'm coming, Gigi. The Kazekage will not live past this day. With that, Naruto disappeared in a phantasm to aid his cage. He wouldn't let Orochimaru murder his pseudo-grandfather. Not while he could do something about it, at least. Hiruzen versus Orochimaru, Kikukuku-sensei, you don't look like you're doing too well, said Orochimaru, laughing at the Sandemi. Lying down on his back, Sarutobi Hiruzen wasn't doing too well. Not only was his age showing itself at the worst time, but his once student managed to summon Hiruzen senseis. The Shodava and Nidemi Hokages were brought back to life. Edo Tensei, Impure World Resurrection, was a troubling jutsu. It was an insult to nature because it brought the dead back to the world of the living. And Orochimaru chose 2 of the most powerful shinobi in history, Hashirama Sensei and Tobirama Sensei. Thought Hiruzen, looking left and right at the both of them. The 2 zombies were closing in on the cage's down frame along with Orochimaru to finish him off for good. If Orochimaru had the jutsu perfected and brought them back closer to full power, this wouldn't have been any contest. Prime Me couldn't beat the 2 together, let alone Old Man Me now. Even with the technique butchered, the undead cages were running him ragged. The old cage didn't have much chakra left. Orochimaru had plenty, and by way of Edo Tensei, Hashirama and Tobirama had an infinite supply. Hiruzen closed his eyes and felt like laying there and accepting his defeat. The odds were heavily out of his favor. He couldn't. He was the Hokage and needed to. You look like you could use a hand. Hiruzen's eyes snapped open to see his red Hokage hat. He discarded the hat earlier thanks to having more suitable combat gear underneath for his battle with Orochimaru. And underneath his Hokage's hat was a smiling Naruto looking down at him. Hiruzen wondered how Naruto got here, but he put that in the back of his mind to marvel at his eyes. Those can't be what I think they are, thought Hiruzen, recognizing the mythological eyes. He knew the legend of the Sage of Six Paths and his unparalleled dojutsu, the Rinnegan. Naruto-kun, your eyes. I'll tell you later. For now, take it easy. I got this, said Naruto before placing a hand on Hiruzen's chest. Closing his eyes, Naruto removed his hand after a second before nodding and walking away. You look like you could use that. I'll be done shortly. Hiruzen felt rejuvenated since Naruto filled back up his chakra supply. It was like the most incredible shot of adrenaline ever. He felt 25. Again, the cage wouldn't need to use any of it because Naruto teleported him a safe distance away. The boy didn't need his assistance in the coming battle. Orochimaru, or should I say, Kazekage Dono. Either way, I'm your opponent now, informed Naruto, walking toward the three-headed monster Hiruzen had been pitted against. Orochimaru was shocked seeing Naruto's eyes. He has the Rinnegan? Questioned Orochimaru in his head. The leader of Akatsuki had the same ones, but Naruto's Rinnegan had Tomoe, reminiscent of the Sharingan in them. Are his eyes related to the Sharingan in some way? I have to know, and there's an easy way to find out. Orochimaru's look turned to one of pure interest. He mentally ordered the previous Hokages to attack Naruto. Naruto merely continued his walk straight to Orochimaru despite the two arriving with synchronized attacks ready. Orochimaru watched the two cages get inexplicably thrown away from Naruto without him breaking stride once. Chikashodo, Kuchiyoza, Animal Path, Summoning, said Naruto before stopping and letting his chakra flow. A ceiling array appeared before a plume of smoke rose. The smoke dissipated to show the Jinchuriki had summoned a bipedal dog. Weirdly, the dog had the upper body of a bird. The creature looked like a Yamabushi Warrior mask, stood roughly 40 feet tall, and had large wings with Naruto's Rinnegan where its eyes were supposed to be. The beast crowed loudly before rushing Orochimaru with immense speed. He summoned a Tengu. Where did he find such a contract? Questioned Hiruzen, watching from where Naruto left him. He could see the summoning pestering Orochimaru. Naruto focused on the more dangerous foes in Hashirama and Tobirama. Normal methods cannot kill them. Naruto-kun, they'll reform from any damage you do, no matter how severe. You have to seal their movements, make the summoner release the jutsu, or remove their soul. Naruto had a jutsu plan to vaporize the two reincarnations. The shouted warning from the Sandaime reached his ears in time. If that's right, how was Gigi going to win this fight then? Does he have a technique that can seal them or remove their souls? Thought Naruto. Watching Hashirama place his hands in the snake seal, his eyes picked up on the unique way the cage's chakra molded. He has a Kekai Genkai. And his chakra. He was an earlier reincarnation of Ashura. Makuten, Jukai Kotan, wood style, nativity of a world of trees. Trees emerged all around. They were numerous and trapping in their creation. Naruto was outpacing them in his dodging, so Hashirama amped up further. The trees grew to monstrous heights before they stopped abruptly. Hashirama perked up when Naruto appeared before him. Naruto placed a palm to the undead cage's chest. Rest once more, Shodai-sama, said Naruto, removing Hashirama's soul. The man's body decayed into ashes to reveal another body. Figures a jutsu of this caliber would need a sacrifice to utilize it. A shame, I found it intriguing. A black rod slid into Naruto's hand after he spoke. He used it to block a sword strike from Orochimaru. Orochimaru was confused because it was in the boy's blind spot. The Sannin didn't know that anything that had his Rinnegan shared its vision with him. The Tengu watched Orochimaru disengage to try to catch Naruto unaware, and by proxy, Naruto did too. The attack from the Nidaime was also in the Tengu's line of sight. Fujutsu Kyuin, said Naruto, raising his other arm. He nullified and absorbed a pressurized stream of water from the Nidaime. Naruto kept his hand out before turning his head to the undead cage. Tendo, Demetsu, Deva Path, guiding destruction. Rest again, Nidaime-sama. Tobirama haplessly flew at Naruto before making contact with his hand. Naruto ripped his soul out before the reincarnation deconstructed as Hashirama's did. Orochimaru felt fear when Naruto looked back his way. Hiruzen's ex-student made it his mission to get as far away from Naruto As possible, he would need an opening. The Rinnegan grants so many abilities. Pain had nothing like this. Only the gravity powers, thought Orochimaru, wary of Naruto. The Jinchuriki was nothing like the boy he defeated in the Forest of Death. Where did this power come from? You allowed this. Orochimaru blinked, hearing Naruto's answer. What? When you cut my bijou off from me, this power was allowed to flow freely. You can read minds. Yes, but I didn't need to read yours. It's written all over your face, said Naruto before the tomoe in his eyes spun. The outer 3 tomoe vanished. Before Naruto's chakra spiked. Goodbye, Orochimaru, Shun Goku Satsu, instant hell murder. Orochimaru watched Naruto glide slowly toward him. However, Naruto was already behind him. His brain made him think Naruto was moving slowly because of the phantasm before him. And he died a few seconds ago, but his body hadn't figured it out yet. Hiruzen saw the entire sequence. It happened in an instant, but the phantasm showed what transpired. Phantasms of Naruto striking Orochimaru could be seen, and the number of blows was incalculable. There were so many. The Sandemi saw. Orochimaru finally dropped before realizing the Sannin wouldn't move again. The aged Kage made his way to check for himself. The closer Hiruzen got, the Kage could hear progressively louder wheezing breaths. They were coming from Naruto. Naruto-kun, are you alright? A tear of blood trailed from Naruto's left eye. Hiruzen was worried until the boy's breaths calmed down. Hiruzen allowed Naruto a moment and turned to Orochimaru. Is he dead? His skin changed from pale white to a sickly purple. However, he doesn't look hurt physically. What did Naruto do to him? I am alright, Gigi. I keep finding out the hard way that this body isn't ready for the full scope of techniques it can use, said Naruto, clearing the bloody tear with his sleeve. The technique he used was one of the most taxing in his arsenal. I hope you said goodbye. He won't ever be coming back. What did you do, my boy? I saw you hit him, but I see no evidence. The Shun Goku Satsu isn't a technique that strikes at one physically. It is a special power of my Rinnegan that allows me to attack one's soul directly. Hiruzen's eyes widened at the explanation. What a dangerous ability. One could fortify their body through rigorous training or medical enhancements. One could strengthen their mind to avoid interrogation and others tinkering with it. There was nothing one could do to ruggedize their souls as far as Hiruzen knew. Naruto's technique was unquestionably a surefire kill. All the strikes I saw then was me battering Orochimaru's soul until it could take no more, confirmed Naruto, looking down at the motionless Sannin. The discoloration of his skin is a byproduct of the soul no longer housing the body. I destroyed his soul entirely, and that's the last anyone will hear of him. This life or the one after. Orochimaru was gone entirely. There wasn't going to be an afterlife for him. Hiruzen wanted to say that was harsh, but he couldn't. He knew what his ex-student had become, what he had done. If anything, that was too easy a punishment. Orochimaru could have burned in hell if it were up to most of the shinobi world. I saw some of his subordinates' memories. That was a very vile man, Gigi. I would have read his mind, but I don't want to know of all the things he did. I'm sure they were disgusting. Naruto's Tengu made its way to its summoner. Naruto hopped atop its shoulder before looking at his Hokage. I have some things to handle. I'll be by later to tell you what happened to me. I'll keep this hat until then, too, because it will be mine eventually. Never forget that, Databio. Hiruzen forgot all about his Kage hat. The kid did look good wearing it. I'll be glad to give it to you someday, said Hiruzen before Naruto's summon flew away. Once Naruto got out of eyesight, Hiruzen noticed several Anbu reaching his position. The same ninjas who watched the fight thanks to the barrier earlier. Hiruzen wondered why they didn't spring into action when the barrier fell. He'd find out later that Naruto stalled them, all to keep as many people as possible from finding out about his powers. He wasn't ready to show the world yet. What is the status of the village? Questioned Hiruzen, showing where his priorities were at. Secure, Hokage-sama. Jiraiya-sama is warding off any threats with help from others. Uzumaki Naruto thwarted their main threat of a full Ichibi based on reports from several Genin. Without the Ichibi, expelling the enemy is going well, reported the tan-cloaked Anbu. Sunagakure has surrendered already. They found out their Kage was Orochimaru and ceased their actions. The Anbu then took notice of Orochimaru before looking up at Hiruzen. Orochimaru, dead? Yes. We have no time to waste. Let us finish dealing with this invasion, said Hiruzen sharply before they all departed. 1 week later, with how bad the invasion could have been without Naruto's intervention in the Hokage's fight and stopping Gaara from using a full possession in the heart of Konoha, lives were still lost. A mass funeral was held for the lives of those lost. Hiruzen gave the deceased an excellent speech. He addressed the residents in a way that uplifted them in such a trying time. It was moments like these that reminded you this man had been a leader for over 4 decades. Despite all the newly hopeful faces, Hiruzen particularly paid attention to Naruto. He wasn't the only one sad, but he seemed the most affected. As Naruto promised, he returned after defeating Orochimaru to speak with Hiruzen. Hiruzen would like to think he took it in stride. However, he was sure there was a slack-jawed expression on his face for the majority of it. It was indeed an amazing thing that had happened to Naruto. Hiruzen thought, with all that power at his disposal, Naruto would be happy all the time. Instead, Hiruzen found out Naruto was no longer the one he had grown to know. The Naruto Hiruzen knew would spin this melancholy into motivation for the future. In an "I'll get strong enough, so this never happens" Argarin kind of way. That wasn't the case, because in actuality, all the power he possessed was the problem. I still can't save everyone. I'm otherworldly strong, and yet, I couldn't save everyone, thought Naruto with uncharacteristically dim blue eyes. The brightness wasn't there anymore. What's the point? What was the point of endowing me with these powers if I can't keep everyone alive? A conundrum Naruto could have solved. He had the power to keep everyone alive. Sadly, he lacked the ability. Gedo, outer path, was the 7th path that lived outside the realm of life and death. Naruto could bring the dead back to life with this path if he so chose. Unlike Edo Tensei, the reincarnated would truly be alive. After leaving Hiruzen, Hagoromo met him with resistance when attempting to use it. Hagoromo appeared before Naruto before he could go through with the jutsu. Naruto tried to explain he wouldn't die from the jutsu. Hagoromo shook his head and made Naruto realize once again that he wasn't him. Naruto was Naruto, not Hagoromo. Hagoromo was an adult with the most powerful entity in the world to fuel the chakra and life force necessary for the Gedo's ability. Naruto was 13 years old with barely a month to adjust to his Rinnegan and new chakra. Naruto also has one Bijou. While powerful, Kurama wouldn't be able to keep Naruto alive if he used any of the Gedo's abilities. Hagoromo could do such a thing and be exhausted for some time. Naruto would undoubtedly perish, bringing back the shinobi and citizens who lost their lives with his current skill level and body composition. Naruto pitied himself, learning he couldn't help. And with the funeral, those feelings resurfaced. He could have saved them. He should have been able to save them. And yet, he wasn't able to. And now, some mothers wouldn't have their kids come home. Some spouse wouldn't have their lover. A child would be orphaned. All because he, Naruto-kun. Naruto blinked, feeling a hand on his cheek. Looking to his right, Naruto saw Ino looking at him with concern. Her look was justified because he was bawling hard. He could feel the tears streaming down his cheek. "Hey, Ino-chan, are you okay?" questioned Ino softly. The funeral was over, and people were leaving, but Naruto hadn't moved. Ino noticed and had been trying to get his attention the entire time. "Did you know one of the deceased?" "No, well, yes, but I was," started Naruto before stopping. Ino was one of 2 people who knew about his eyes and potential. He didn't have to hide this from her. It'd probably be good to let her know now that he thought about it. "I could have saved them. You shouldn't think like that. I know you're strong now, but you can't do everything," said Ino, trying to lighten the mood. Naruto shook his head. Before transporting them to the Hokage monument, Ino saw Naruto's Rinnegan glowering at her before noticing their new location. "I know about your Rinnegan, a lot of abilities and blah blah blah. Still, you're strong, Naruto-kun, not omnipresent. Do you remember the 6 paths I showed you?" Ino nodded before Naruto held up 7 fingers. "There's a 7th path, Gedo, outer path. And it allows me several abilities. One being reviving the dead," said Naruto, getting Ino's eyes to widen. "I can revive anyone, be it right after their passing or decades and decades since. It's more strenuous the longer they've been dead and dependent on the revived person's strength. I can bring back a singular person. I could also bring back everyone who died during the invasion." Ino looked at Naruto in another light. It was hit after hit with this guy. Naruto could revive the dead. Now that she thought about it, there had to be a cost for such a technique. And he practically said it. "There has to be a drawback," said Ino, noticing Naruto's Rinnegan. It was missing 3 tomoe. "When you mean strenuous, does that mean you could, well, you know." "Yes, I could potentially kill myself." Naruto found no reason to hide such a thing. He didn't want to lie to Ino. The look he got brought a smile to his face. She does look like Hagoromo's lover. She used to stare at him the same way for the things he would say. It's crazy the similarities. Naruto wrapped Ino up in a hug before she could lay into him. "I know, now at least. Ironically, I was forced to realize it when I attempted by the man who gave me this power. Time is the most dangerous aspect. Time? Questioned Ino with her head settled comfortably on Naruto's shoulder. Her comfort was weird because wasn't Naruto shorter than her? When did he get taller than me? He grew several inches taller than me in just a month. The longer the length of time since the revived's death, the life force required exponentiates. The strength of one is a factor, but time is the decider in how difficult it'd be on me to bring someone back, said Naruto informatively to Ino. She nodded into his shoulder, getting him to continue. If someone dies immediately, their soul is usually stuck within limbo for a moment. If there, it's much easier to grab. As time passes, the soul moves further and further away, which makes it much harder to reach and bring back. Since the invasion just happened, you could have revived everyone, no problem. Yes, bringing him back wouldn't have killed me if I was more adjusted to my new powers. I'd be drained and likely bedridden for some time afterward, but not dead. This information put Ino at ease. She didn't like the idea of Naruto dying. They weren't friends, but he was her best friend's teammate, they graduated together, and she knew all the great things he could do for Konoha. Maybe even the world. That Rinnegan of his was amazing. And speaking of Rinnegan, what happened to your Rinnegan? Your Rinnegan. It has 6 Tomoe. It had 9 a week ago. Oh, I destroyed Orochimaru's soul, said Naruto, feeling Ino nod slowly into his shoulder again. The girl was comfortable. She barely reacted to him speaking about destroying a soul. It takes a lot out of me to do such a thing. It weakens my eyes and vitality for a spell. I'll be back to normal with enough rest. Hey, Ino-chan. You're drooling on my shoulder, said Naruto, getting Ino to pick her head up in embarrassment. She discovered she hadn't been drooling at all. She glared at Naruto and got a cheeky smile in return. Oh, it's getting to be too easy. Ugh, when will this end? Questioned Ino, placing her head back on Naruto's shoulder. He was really warm, and this was highly comfortable for some reason. It felt more right than it should have been. This could be addicting if I liked Naruto-kun. Too bad he has blonde hair, not black. We could have been a thing. Thought Ino, reveling in the hug from the Jinchuriki. Hinata would lose her mind if she were me right now. Well, it'll probably end soon. You're not so crazy about me anymore since finding out most of what I can do. No longer out to prove to everyone I'm Kami's right hand, exclaimed Naruto, getting a soft smile from Ino. He could feel the girl's breathing lightening up. She was falling asleep in his arms. So, I have to take what I can. I'm going to get you back for all this. And don't worry, I'm still exposing you someday soon. Hey, good luck. With that said, Naruto looked down to see Ino asleep. Stalking him for the past month had finally caught up to her. One teleportation and Naruto stood in Ino's room. He gently tucked the sleeping girl into bed before smiling again at her. Ino did make him feel better. For the second time, even. He'd have to do something nice for her. Naruto would figure that out later because he remembered he had something else to attend to. Mu no Kai, Realm of Nothingness. A circle of black flames appeared around Naruto's feet before a head spawned and swallowed him whole. Unknown location. A humanoid statue sat with only its torso exposed, and its hands held up. Atop the statue's fingers stood 9 figures that were all holograms. On the right thumb stood a spiky-haired man that opened his eyes to reveal his Rinnegan. The eyes looked like Naruto's Rinnegan Sonseni Tomoe. Those eyes turned to one hologram that spoke testily. Come on with it. Why the fuck did you call us here? You interrupted my ritual. The man's Rinnegan bore a hole into the man who spoke. They unnerved him to some degree. Luckily, his outburst wouldn't be met negatively and would get the ball rolling. Zetsu has some information he would like to share with us, said the Rinnegan wielder, looking to the statue's right pinky. What do you have to report? Sunagakure invaded Konoha. Orochimaru aided them in their efforts, informed the hologram known as Zetsu. Despite the initial surprise of the attack, Konoha repelled the 2 forces without major damage. Is that all? This is a waste of time, spoke a hologram that looked more like a hunchback. Orochimaru died during the invasion. That bit of news got everyone's eyes to widen. The hologram with a ponytail and a bang of hair covering one eye was the first to speak. So that snake finally got what was coming to him. I wanted to do it, to be honest. Who was the one that got him? Orochimaru faced the Sandemi Hokage. Oh, looks like your cage can still get down, Itachi-san, spoke a taller hologram with beady eyes and shark-like teeth. That is the most prevalent news, but also, the Kyuubi Jinchuriki managed to defeat the Ichibi Jinchuriki who'd undergone a full possession. Continued Zetsu, getting looks of interest. He seems to be under the tutelage and watchful eye of Jiraiya of the Sannin. During the first match of the exams, his performance was by far the most impressive. From their previous thoughts, the Kyuubi Jinchuriki wasn't anything impressive. According to Zetsu's initial report, Naruto had failed his Chunnin exam. Twice. Nothing was extraordinary about him other than the bijou within him. A bijou meant nothing to the people in the room. They could deal with a bijou sealed within an inept Jinchuriki. However, it seemed Zetsu's data was outdated if he could take out a full bijou. It looks like we need to update our information on him. Who is closest to the land of fire? Itachi-san and I are less than a day out. Good. You two will go and handle updating our information. Capture the Jinchuriki if possible, spoke the leader, getting nods from the two shinobi. If there isn't anything else, continued the leader, looking to Zetsu. He got a shake of the head from the man. Then you're all dismissed. We will reconvene again soon. The holograms slowly vanished one by one to go about their business. A business that involved Konoha's Jinchuriki first and foremost. With Naruto. Achoo! Sneezed Naruto, shaking his head after. Removing his face from his elbow, Naruto looked forward with a smile. Someone must be talking about me. Now then, where were we? Taiuya and Kidomaru? Questioned Naruto, looking at the two remaining captured Oto shinobi. They'd been in this realm for over a week, mainly because Naruto forgot about them. I have no more use for either of you. I've killed Orochimaru, and I plan to begin eradicating any trace of his existence from this world. Taiuya, the redhead female, and Kidomaru, a tan-skinned boy with 4 extra arms, looked shocked at the news. Orochimaru was dead. Because of this kid, they'd have asked how, but their tongues were held by that red construct. And it seems I'll be starting with the two of you, said Naruto, getting a panicked look from Taiuya. He placed a hand on her stomach. Taiuya looked fearfully, seeing his Rinnegan glow ominously. Kyukon, absorption soul. Naruto pulled back with a soul in his hand. Taiuya figured she was dead until seconds passed by with nothing happening to her. Her confusion was immense when she saw Naruto fling the soul into the darkness. Naruto could see the question in the girl's eyes. Orochimaru placed a portion of himself within you through your curse mark. I could feel his presence within the other two as well. Killing you would solve it because it did with your teammates, but you don't seem hellbent on destroying Konoha or harming innocents any longer, said Naruto. Before a shine came to his eyes. I wouldn't be wrong in that assumption, would I? Taiuya shook her head. Naruto closed his eyes before hearing her drop to the floor. The girl found her tongue released and sat helplessly before Naruto. The Jinchuriki nodded and moved on to Kidomaru. Removing Orochimaru's soul, Naruto gave the same question. If I free you, will you harm Konoha or innocents? Questioned Naruto, getting another shake of the head. Naruto nodded, but Kidomaru's tongue wasn't released. One cannot lie to the King of Hell. If you do, the tendril holding Kidomaru's tongue proceeded to yank it from his mouth. You'll lose your life. Taiuya stared at the graphic death of her final teammate before Naruto turned back to her. He walked her way, and the darkness shifted to cover Kidomaru. Taiuya would have said something or been afraid if she wasn't devilishly tired. Now that she thought about it, she didn't know how long she'd been down here. She hadn't had water or food. She didn't even remember going to sleep. How am I alive? You didn't lie to the King of Hell. And when trapped here, your body enters a stasis. If you were wondering why you've survived a week without food, water, and rest, informed Naruto, crouching down to look the girl in the eyes. Her brown hues held his gaze right back. Naruto helped her into a better sitting position before asking a question. What do you plan to do when I allow you to leave here? What does it matter? I committed a crime against Konoha and numerous others. I'm going to prison, said Taiuya, feeling her vitality return. She felt terrific. It happened after Naruto touched her. What the fuck did you do to me? I gave you some chakra. The King of Hell drains all of it practically if I capture you, said Naruto with a smile. And, of course, you'd go to prison if I were to tell everyone in Konoha everything about you. I don't have to do that, though, do I? Taiuya's eyes widened hearing this. As I said, I plan to eradicate Orochimaru's existence until it is no more. I could have done it without you, but since you're still alive, I figured I'd ask for your assistance if you're up for it. Quote. And if you help me, I can talk to Gigi about your situation. Not like anyone knows you're with Oto besides him, me, and maybe Jiraiya-sensei. Taiuya stared at Naruto after he spoke. What kind of offer was that? It wasn't much of one. Either go to jail for some inconceivable amount of time, or help Naruto destroy the very thing she once was a part of to gain freedom. Considering her team was gone, and Orochimaru was dead, what did he expect her to say? It was likely why his face lit up seeing her nod her consent to helping him. I was hoping you'd say that, said Naruto, vanishing from the realm to leave her alone once more. Did I go from one overpowered asshole's underling to another even more overpowered asshole's underling? Asked Taiuya aloud while standing up. The moment she stood, she was swallowed by black fire. The fire scared her until she felt the wind in her face. What the fuck? You're not the underling of an overpowered asshole, Tayuya-san. Think of yourself as an assistant for the time being, said Naruto, getting the Oto girl to look sheepish. She didn't know he could hear her in there. Welcome aboard. Our mission, to destroy Oto. Well, at least the majority of it, I'll wager to guess. Tayuya couldn't explain the feeling. From being stuck in a place without any feeling to returning to the actual world, Tayuya felt exhilaration like no other. The air, the colors, and everything was wonderful to experience again. Tayuya took in her surroundings and noticed herself on the back of a Tengu. She spotted Naruto in front of her, lying down, with his eyes closed. Now, as your new overpowered asshole boss, I need you to change clothes. The Oto imagery is a no-go, said Naruto, pointing to a backpack to the girl. There are some clothes in there. Change if you would. If you're the self-conscious type, I promise to keep my eyes closed. You better. And there better not be Konoha shit in here. I'm not wearing a leaf. I'm not wearing Konoha things, said Naruto, getting Tayuya to notice his attire. It was a black jacket, a fishnet shirt, and black pants. No Konoha affiliation was showing. If I don't wear Konoha, and it happens to be my village, I wouldn't force you to. You aren't a Konoha shinobi. You're the assistant of an overpowered asshole, remember? Tayuya looked at Naruto before grabbing the backpack. Opening the bag, Tayuya looked at the clothes and shrugged. He had good taste because these weren't half bad or far off from what she would pick to wear. Tayuya began to take her tunic off before glancing back at Naruto. Seeing his eyes still closed, Tayuya quickly changed. He wouldn't be getting some free show from her. Oto girl looks pretty good. No, scratch that. Oto girl looks good, thought Naruto, keeping his promise of not opening his eyes. Too bad. Tayuya didn't know Naruto could see clearly through the eyes of his summoning. Naruto would never think to peep on a girl, but human nature was human nature. Scratch that a third time. She's ridiculously hot. Why did she wear that baggy stuff? Also, what an interesting birthmark. Eventually, Tayuya finished redressing herself before walking to stand over Naruto. So, how do I look? Am I up to your standards now? Questioned Tayuya, getting Naruto to open his eyes. Naruto looked up at the girl and instantly blushed. Tayuya was dressed in a black, sleeveless kimono blouse with orange trimmings held closed by a traditional obi of the same two colors. A short black skirt covered her skin-tight black shorts. All in all, the girl looked good in her new clothes, and like Naruto's assistant, they wore matching colors, after all. However, she was confused by his blush and lack of answering her question. The fuck is wrong with you? Why are you blushing? Ah, you're wearing a skirt. Yeah, I'm a girl. Girls wear skirts. And your shorts are skin-tight. Oh, realized Tayuya quickly. She was standing over Naruto in a skirt with skin-tight shorts on. Tayuya blushed before crossing her legs. My new boss is a fucking pervert. Quote. Quote. You look good, by the way. Shut the fuck up. And thus, Naruto did. He'd try to fix that pervert stigma during their trip. Chapter 4. Samsara Jinchuriki. Congratulations to all of you. Even if you did not receive the promotion to Chunnin, you performed admirably during the invasion, and perhaps a field promotion may come sooner than the next exams, said Hiruzen, looking at the genin who competed in the Chunnin exams. Only 11 of them were there because Naruto asked for a small sabbatical. He was promoted along with Shikamaru. I'd give Naruto-kun Jonin because he's strong enough, but I have to be sure that strength comes with leadership qualities first, thought Hiruzen before chuckling to himself. Who am I? Kidding. Naruto-kun will take my chair as soon as he's ready to. I don't know why I bother promoting him. He could have gone genin to Hokage. Hiruzen watched the genin teams pile out of his office during his thoughts. Once they were gone, he turned his head to the window to see Jiraiya. Jiraiya, you're still here. I figured you'd be gone by now. I planned to, but I figured I could stay for a bit longer. I wanted to make sure you're all right, old man. Well, thank you for that. Thankfully, I am in good health. I'm glad to see it. Also, I need to speak with Naruto before I leave. I need to tell him something. Hiruzen raised an eyebrow. You know, the Akatsuki. I think it's time I told him. He'll probably freak out when I do, but the kid needs to know. They'll be coming after him sooner than later. I doubt he'll freak out, thought Hiruzen, smiling internally. Jiraiya had no clue who Naruto was these days. I know you trained him for the finals. I'm happy you're finally getting involved in his life. Yeah, he's a good kid already. Now that what? I didn't kill Orochimaru. I'm not following you here. You were the one facing Roaki. I was. Then how did what's that? Questioned Jiraiya when Hiruzen handed him something. It was a small piece of black metal. Jiraiya was impressed by the metal's quality. Is this what killed him? Its owner did. Funnel chakra through it, said Hiruzen, getting a shrug from Jiraiya. He had no reason not to do so. It's not like Hiruzen was the type to prank someone. I convinced him to tell you. Be sure to thank him for letting you in on his secret. And tell him I said hi. Let you know. A puff of smoke covered Jiraiya. Earlier with Naruto and Tayuya. This is Orochimaru's northern hideout? Questioned Naruto, looking at Tayuya. The girl nodded before Naruto sighed. It's a hostile environment, wouldn't you say? You have no idea, Sunflower, said Tayuya, blocking a claw with her flute. In front of the two were grey-colored people with abnormal body modifications. These are all rejected copies of this guy named Jugo. Everything here is this. A mindless beast. I know, somewhat. I have Seikon's memories. Naruto stabbed a black through one of the people. Despite this, I feel the need to ask. Is there nothing of note here? Nope, this place sucks. Everyone here has a curse mark and is a shitty throwaway. Other than the original, but he's even more insane, confirmed. Tayuya dodging 2 attacks. She landed behind Naruto with her back to him. Not worth it, in my opinion. Alright then, said Naruto, sparking with lightning. He was done messing around. Kaminari no Maki, coil of lightning. Tayuya heard thunderclaps and looked at Naruto. Bolts of lightning were snapping off of Naruto's body. The bolts crackled across the landscape, wiping out hordes of their adversaries. One lightning bolt was enough to defeat them. However, each foe was struck by at least 3 in rapid succession. The guy looks like he's barely trying, thought Tayuya, watching the casual display of power. The jutsu was altering the landscape. This could wipe out an army if he chose to. Well, it is wiping out an army. They don't have a chance. Once again, nothing here worth anything? Questioned Naruto, getting another nod from Tayuya. Naruto nodded back before ending his lightning attack. Then it's time to leave. Doton, Binkatsu Shitaji, Earth style, splitting foundation. Naruto placed a palm to the ground, splitting the island in 2. Naruto stood and tapped Tayuya to teleport them back atop his airborne Tengu. No need to dilly-dally then. Suton, Hashiku, water style, wave erosion. From the split, a massive gush of water spewed out of it. The water rose into a titanic wave over 100 feet tall before gravity took hold. The wave crashed back to the earth with a mighty splash. Tayuya didn't have to look down to know that anything on the island was dead when the water landed. Tayuya could only stare at Naruto. She was scared seeing the bored look on his whiskered face. You are a terrifying boss. How can you do that with no effort? Asked Tayuya, looking down. You made an entire island disappear. There's only water. Orochimaru could never do anything on such a scale. I'm terrifying, even when I'm on your side. Especially then. I get to see all the ridiculous shit you can do and live to know someone's walking around capable of said ridiculous shit. I never thought about it like that. I guess that would make me terrifying, said Naruto with a shrug. The island was a part of the ocean and would stay that way forever. Naruto perked up, feeling a familiar chakra. Took him long enough. Chikishodo, animal path? No, what, sensei? Questioned Jiraiya before blinking. He was confused to no longer be in the Hokage's office. Gaining his bearings, Jiraiya looked over and spotted Tayuya. Hello, sup goofy looking dumbass. Sunflower has been waiting for you. Tayuya a few days later. So, this is what Akatsuki can do. This is only Uchiha Itachi. And the others are roughly equivalent, informed Jiraiya, answering Naruto's question. The two stood in the hospital, overlooking 2 bedridden shinobi. Hitaki Kakashi and Uchiha Sasuke laid comatose. He's your teammate's older brother who wiped out the entire Uchiha clan in one night. Yeah, Kakashi-sensei and Sasuke kind of told me. And this guy is after me. Him and at least 6 more. All of whom are on par with one another. Well, that's fun, said Naruto with a sigh. He kept looking at Kakashi and Sasuke before feeling a stare. Naruto turned and saw Jiraiya giving him an expectant look. What? Well, aren't you going to fix them or something magically? Said Jiraiya before getting close and pointing at his eyes. Ya no, Rinnegan magic. Fix them. It's not magic. And I can't, said Naruto, getting Jiraiya to raise an eyebrow. I can't do anything. Physically, I could probably help, but this is mental. I can't fix that. Yet. Sure, let's go with that, said Naruto sarcastically, looking back at the two. Is this why Gigi called us back before we were done? He thought I could help, pretty much. Kakashi is important to the village. We need him back up as soon as possible, said Jiraiya before turning to Sasuke. And that's a kid. tortured by his predicament only to get it thrown in his face again by the very one who put him in it. Continued Jiraiya before clapping. Since Naruto couldn't help, this only meant one thing. Road trip time. You were on a road trip, Ero-sensei. Yeah, yes, and growing still. Neat, replied Jiraiya before turning his attention back to the nurse. She saw him and smiled before walking out. Jiraiya's eyes panned low to admire the woman's physique again. Road trip might need a small delay while I take. Ero-sensei, I told you it works well. Jiraiya shook his head before grabbing Naruto's head with one palm. He walked out with the smaller shinobi. Let's just go. One day later. Tanzaku guy. Why here, sensei? Gambling town, replied Jiraiya coolly while looking at the bustling town. The person we're looking for is an addict. A good starting point, if anything I'd say. Any description you got? 106 centimeters. What? He's only 3.5 feet tall? Questioned Naruto, getting a shake of the head from Jiraiya. We're looking for a woman, Gaki. And no, 106 centimeters, said Jiraiya with a lecherous grin. He brought his hands up like he was cupping an imaginary chest. 106 centimeters. No way, you're lying, said Naruto with rosy cheeks. She was my teammate. If anyone knows, it is me. Teammate, like the third Sannin. Yep, we're looking for Tsunade. Wow, I might meet all 3 Sannin in the same month, said Naruto with a smile before closing his eyes. She got chakra like you. I'd say more. Hummed Naruto in reply. Naruto's eyes snapped open before he nodded his head. I think I found her. She's here, maybe. There aren't many people in the world with chakra as strong as yours. And there's one on the other end of this town. Well, let's go say hi then. Sure, said Naruto, eyes flashing to his Rinnegan before they turned back. Jiraiya and Naruto appeared in a booth with 2 women and a pig. Hi, the 2 women freaked out at his being there. Their fright made sense. So, Jiraiya, 2 questions. Why are you here? Questioned Tsunade before pointing at Naruto. And who's the kid who can't keep his eyes off my chest? Real subtle entrance, kid, said Jiraiya sheepishly, laughing to hide his nerves. Jiraiya coughed in his hand, seeing the unamused look on Tsunade's face. Guess he needed to get down to business. Hey, Haim, you look as good as ever. Sadly, this isn't a personal visit. Konoha needs your help. Tsunade raised an eyebrow. Konoha needed her help. She could humor this, at least. She still had alcohol to finish anyway, and she couldn't find a reason not to listen. It would probably be a good laugh finding out whatever that bastard of a village wanted from her. Konoha, Tayuya was angry. Fucking sunflower. Correction, Tayuya was angry at Naruto. Stomping around in a huff, Tayuya mimicked the Kyuubi Jinchuriki's last words to her. Don't worry Tayuya-san, I'll be back soon. Tayuya grumbled a few swears before looking at the calendar. It's been a whole day, and he hasn't come back. What the fuck did he mean by soon? Usually, Tayuya wouldn't care because things like that didn't matter too much. She was an independent young lady. She didn't need the company. Honestly, she preferred isolation unless someone forced the isolation. That whisker-having, pipsqueak fucking cherub-faced idiot knows I can't go out in Konoha. He's my alibi and hasn't told anyone anything yet. Screamed Tayuya walking to the kitchen. She slammed open Naruto's pantry and nearly lost it. I'm so hungry, and all he has are these fucking ramen cups. I hate him so much. Stupid asshole. Tayuya slammed the pantry shut before deciding to go to sleep. She refused to eat ramen from a cup, so sleep to settle her stomach was the only answer. Looking at the couch she slept on last night, Tayuya turned to Naruto's room. Yep, I'm sleeping in there, said Tayuya walking over to and kicking open Naruto's door. She spotted his bed and frowned at how small it was. Wait. Why is his bed so comfortable? It's perfect. Trailed off Tayuya, melting into the wondrous feel of Naruto's bed. She didn't remember being angry at Naruto or hungry. All she knew was Naruto's bed. I could be here forever. Why the fuck is this thing so comfy? And like that, Tayuya found herself asleep. She'd probably be angrier and hungrier when she awoke later. For now, she'd enjoy the most fantastic sleep she ever had in her entire life. Tanzaku guy, Haim, I don't think this is such a good idea. You should have told that to your brat before he called me a disappointment, huffed Tsunade, making her way outside. Lil brat doesn't even know who I am. He knows who you are, informed Jiraiya, trying to halt Tsunade. A fight with Naruto was one she didn't need to start. You don't know who he is. And that's why I worry. I don't even think I could. Shut up, Jiraiya. He's a kid. A stupid one at that who's about to learn a hard lesson, said Tsunade, walking outside to see Naruto waiting for her. If you want to apologize, you can. It won't stop this beatdown, but I might let you keep all of your limbs if you do. I wasn't out to fight you, lady, but you were wasting mine and Ero-sensei's time, said Naruto with narrowed blue eyes. We have other options. Outside of you. Tsunade was taken aback by the look in Naruto's eyes. For some reason, it felt like his glare could paralyze her if she weren't as strong as she is. Despite that line of thinking at first, Tsunade disregarded it entirely and smirked before holding up one finger. You're arrogant. Not my cup of tea. I'll probably only need one finger to beat someone like you, said Tsunade, not seeing Jiraiya smack his face at. There was no way in hell he was going to let Naruto use any of his freakishly powerful Rinnegan abilities. He'd witnessed Naruto sack several Oto hideouts with no effort after the kid summoned him. The kid dishearteningly stated he didn't get to show the most dangerous aspect of his eyes before Hiruzen called them back. Tsunade, bless her soul, was rightfully dubbed the strongest woman in the world. However, Jiraiya could see the rust on her. She would be no challenge to Naruto, even without his Rinnegan. So no Rinnegan for Naruto, even though he'd probably bring it out anyway to firmly show up. His teammate, if you don't come to me, I'm coming to you. And that's the last thing you would want, said Tsunade, smirk still on her face. Jiraiya shook his head again and put his hands over his face. Shizune looked at the white-haired Sannin with a curious gaze. Naruto was a newly promoted Chunnin, and Tsunade was Tsunade. Shizune saw no other outcome but her master's victory. Tsunade did too. If you let me start this fight, I promise it will be over in an instant. Yeah, said Naruto standing in front of Tsunade. Holding on to her promise, Tsunade moved one finger in front of his fist and stopped it easily. The blonde woman was surprised at his speed and saw his fist headed for her chin. Naruto's eyebrow rose at the casual way she stopped his punch. Your chakra control is this fine-tuned. You can augment your strength to absurd levels. The dedication to one's chakra control to such an extreme degree, he could see why she was so lauded off that ability alone. He admires my chakra control. His chakra control is crazy too. He can use that high-level jutsu with no hand seal, thought Tsunade, frantically. Shifting her body in the air, the 5 clones had jumped to meet her. She landed before 10 more Narutos spawned around her. As if I'd let that happen again, Tsunade rose her finger before dropping and thrusting it into the ground. The ground exploded in a spiderweb crack, upturning pieces of earth that shook the area violently. Tsunade dispelled the gaggle of Narutos with ease. Dust clouded the area from her attack. The clone Narutos were gone. The original stood looking at her like he had been since the earlier shadow. Clones. Tsunade then noticed the dust in the air was blowing toward her gently. Naruto was using a low-powered wind tunnel that practically outlined her. What is the point of this small breeze? Thought Tsunade, unaffected by the slight wind flowing through the area. All he did was clear the air of the dust and debris. Outside of that, he wasn't doing anything. Wait, is his chest puffed out? Hi no Maki, coil of fire, thought Naruto, exhaling a blast of red-hot fire. Thanks to the wind tunnel he created, Naruto's flames were concentrated and kept from spreading out like usual to avoid damaging the buildings lining the street. He wasn't Tsunade. Naruto refused to do collateral damage when facing someone unless necessary. What the hell is this kid? Thought Tsunade, ducking down and picking up a piece of earth to protect herself. She began to sweat lightly at the heat flowing around the piece of earth that shielded her. The female Sannin felt like she was cooking in a furnace. Someone his age shouldn't be capable of ninjutsu like this. It's over. Tsunade's eyes widened, and she turned to see Naruto there with his arms folded. His fire jutsu still blazed on around them. He was avoiding it, thanks to the rock she put up. Tsunade was prepped to defend until she sunk into the ground. Tsunade's legs were in the ground up to her knees, before a series of spears rose. The spears stuck her torso in place awkwardly. As I said, there are other ways to help my teammates than you, said Naruto with the same cold eyes he had at the beginning. Arms still crossed, Naruto looked down at the very gifted medic Nin. His eyes softened before he spoke again. Ero-sensei said it. I know about you. It sucks that your lover and baby brother died fighting for Konoha. I can't understand the pain you went through, continued Naruto before his eyes hardened. But someone else's lover, baby brother, father, mother, sister, etc. died in the wake of your absence and forfeiture on life as a kunoichi. You could have possibly saved them and many more to keep someone else from the same heartbreak you feel. But you didn't and won't. That's why I said, you're a disappointment. You could do so much where others can't and wish they could. Tsunade sat wide-eyed and forcibly stuck listening to the words of the Jinchuriki. He was 13, yet speaking like he'd lived a life full of strife. If only she knew that he had, in a sense. Tsunade didn't know, and even if she did, the woman wouldn't care anyway. Her pain was unique to her, and who was he to tell her how to deal with it? This was the reason she was a disappointment to him, because she wouldn't fix every little boo-boo that befalls or befell someone from her grandfather's village. Give her a break. Oi, you damned whisked brat, said Tsunade, getting Naruto to raise an eyebrow. The earthly prison began to crack. The look on the Sannin's face shifted to one of anger. It's somehow my fault that Sarutobi didn't listen to me when I said we needed more medics. It's somehow my fault. There is no one else in the entire world that can help your hurt friends outside of me. It's my fault I wasn't good enough to save my own family with my power, and now when someone else faces my reality, I'm supposed to help them when no one was there to help me. Naruto watched the woman forcibly tear through his jutsu while she spoke and stood to look at him with fierce brown eyes. Tsunade didn't wait long for an answer when she saw the same brutally cold eyes still looking at her. She kept her earlier promise despite her anger-fueled attack. She led with her pointer finger, which could level a building. Sadly, yes, you can't help you were endowed with great power, said Naruto, shifting his head left of Tsunade's finger before his Rinnegan shifted. On a sharp and crisp left-right of chakra-fueled fingers to the stomach dropped Tsunade to her knees, parallel with Naruto. I believe those endowed with great power shouldn't run from moments where they can do good in this troublesome world. Continued Naruto before lashing out. With an elbow to Tsunade's temple, he stopped an inch from leveling the legendary medic. Her pigtails blew from the force gathered. The elbow wouldn't demolish a building, but it would have put Tsunade through the building next to them. I promise you I won't, so that one day I can save someone's loved one or maybe their baby brother. Because if everyone thought like you, no one would save anyone. You have to break the cycle to keep it from repeating, don't ya think? It's what I think. Wow, nice words, thought Jiraiya with a smile. Shizune stood with her jaw dropped at her master getting bested by a kid. Jiraiya noticed it before, shifting focus back to Naruto. Finish strong. You got her on the road. After hearing Naruto, Tsunade stared forward, hand on her stomach, and didn't move for a few seconds. The pain in her abdomen was all but forgotten listening to Naruto's words. Naruto smiled cheekily and rose both arms to the sky with balled fists. My dream is to become Hokage, and I'd gladly give my life if it meant saving one person or the entire village, spoke Naruto, bringing his arms down and nodding to affirm it to himself. This I promise, Databayo. And like that, Tsunade had two memories flash through her head. The first of her younger brother, Nawaki, and the second of her lover, Dan. The two very important people in her life who died too early that both shared Naruto's dream. She could see the two of them smiling at her, and right between them stood Naruto. A tear fell down Tsunade's eye, and not because of the mighty blows she took. It fell due to the thoughts running through her head. Naruto kneeled next to her and tapped her stomach twice, both in the spots of her chakra gates. Sorry about the last hits. They hurt more than usual since I closed 2 chakra gates when I poked you, said Naruto, reopening the 2 gates with pulses of chakra. You should start to feel your chakra flow naturally once again. I'm certain you can deal with the pain yourself, right? I mean, you are the greatest medic in the world. Tsunade turned her teary eyes to Naruto to see his Rinnegan in place of his blue ones. Somehow, despite the emotionless appearance of the eyes, Naruto managed to shine some warmth through them while matching the medic's gaze. Tsunade was physically rusty, but mentally, she retained knowledge as well as she did in her prime. She knew what she was looking at. Rinnegan. He has the same eyes as the Sage of Six Paths. Naruto probably showed her them to drive home his point about being endowed with great power and choosing to do the right thing with it. And probably to make her feel better about the loss she took. She needed the latter because losing to a fresh Chunnin would hurt her reputation and pride tremendously. She needed to train again because she wouldn't go down like this next time. So fascinated about the eyes, Tsunade nearly missed what was behind Naruto. Naruto, look out, someone managed to sneak up on me, thought Naruto, turning to see a volley of shuriken flying his way. Choosing to dodge with Tsunade, Naruto froze, noticing something alarming thanks to his visual prowess. There's shuriken in the shadows of these. No escape. Siatsu. Subjugating pressure, Naruto formed a gravity wall around him and Tsunade that deflected the shuriken. Naruto quickly moved from behind Tsunade, who impressively managed to get him out of harm's way, before he looked up at the red eyes of the man behind the shuriken. Uchiha. Itachi. Hello, Naruto-kun, spoke Itachi monotonously, wondering how his shurikens were stopped. Itachi considered a wind jutsu of some sort before seeing Naruto's eyes. He has the Rinnegan. This is over, said Naruto, teleporting behind Itachi. A phantasm of Naruto could be seen ghosting toward the Akatsuki member. Naruto moved to attack before stopping. Genjutsu, that fast? I didn't even notice. The Itachi before Naruto dissolved in a flock of crows. Naruto was amazed at the speed. Itachi must have gotten him when they first met Eyes 4. The second before Naruto teleported behind him. Then, he had the foresight not to pass go and collect $200 by hightailing it out of there. Itachi, what the hell happened? Questioned a large man that ran beside Itachi with blue skin. He had the same beady eyes of the hologram that spoke to Itachi less than a week ago. You said you were going to start the attack, and I'd come in later. Did you change your mind? Tsunade and Jiraiya couldn't handle both of us. I know that. You were right. We likely could best Tsunade-sama and Jiraiya-sama in battle. So, why didn't we? Pipsqueak would have been easy pickings afterward. Naruto-kun is the sole reason we're fleeing, Kisame, said Itachi saying Pipsqueak's name, unlike his partner. Sensing his partner's next question, Itachi answered it. Naruto-kun's bijou isn't the problem. He has the Rinnegan. Kisame's eyes widened, and he was quick to no longer question Itachi's idea to leave. Naruto having the Rinnegan ended the discussion right there. The Kyuubi Jinchuriki has the same eyes as the leader of Akatsuki. It would be fun sharing that with the rest of the group later. You think we could have taken him? Questioned Kisame after a moment. Whether we could take him or not remains unknown, spoke Itachi, still sprinting away. Naruto was young and not as strong as he could be given time to grow. Now was probably their best chance to beat Naruto in battle. Except, his current entourage made even that task already tricky to accomplish. Our main objective was to update our information on him, capture if possible. I didn't want to run the risk of facing two Sannin and a Jinchuriki with the Rinnegan. Capturing him at that time didn't seem doable. Yeah, you're probably right, spoke Kisame before a shark-like grin crossed his face. Just hope we can catch him alone soon. I've always wanted to see what the eyes of the Sage of Six Paths could do. No, you don't. Even one day later, with Naruto walking along the path back to Konoha with Tsunade and Shizune in tow, Naruto and Jiraiya walked next to each other while a repeated thwap could be heard. The cause of these thwaps was due to Jiraiya smacking Naruto with a rolled-up newspaper every few yards. Naruto had an angrier look each time Jiraiya hit his head. What did I say? No Rinnegan. And what did you do? Used Rinnegan. THWAP. And guess what happened? Akatsuki saw it. And why is that bad? They'll prepare. THWAP. What did I say? No Rinnegan. And what did you do? Used Rinnegan, repeated Naruto before his Rinnegan came to life. He halted Jiraiya's next smack with his gravity powers. Turning to his sensei, the Tomoe in his eyes spun dangerously. Hit me again, and I'm ripping your soul out of your body and keeping it in the King of Hell until we get back home. Jiraiya raised an eyebrow and opened his eyes at his student's threat. Turning to hold the boy's gaze, Jiraiya was curious. You can't do that. Can you? Hit me again, and you'll find out. Jiraiya kept looking at Naruto for several more steps before shrugging. Even though he believed Naruto could do something like that, he felt the need to call the boy's bluff. Village destroying ninjutsu. Sure, Jiraiya had seen it. Was he ripping out souls? PFFT, no way the kid could do it until proven, and Jiraiya wanted proof. Thus, the newspaper descended and smacked the boy for the 20th time in the past 5 minutes. THWAP. That's it, shouted Naruto slapping a palm to Jiraiya before ripping the man's soul out. The King of Hell rose beside the angry Jinchuriki before he tossed the soul inside its mouth. Chikashodo, Animal Path. A ceiling array appeared underneath the falling husk that was Jiraiya's soulless body. A human-sized turtle with the head of a lion appeared and caught Jiraiya's body before beginning to walk toward Konoha. Naruto turned his Rinnegan off before turning to the other two walking with him. So, what were we talking about before Ero-sensei did that? Oh yeah, your pet pigs. Name is Tonton. How did you all come up with her name? Naruto finally realized that Tsunade and Shizune had stopped walking. The two stood with very wide eyes. Naruto looked at them curiously. Why did they stop? He couldn't feel anything around him that could cause such a thing. Did you just started, then stopped Tsunade twice, shakily pointing a finger at the turtle carrying Jiraiya. Maybe that was a bit overboard, thought Naruto with a sigh. He thought maybe warning Jiraiya would make what he did less shocking, but he'd taken a man's soul out. No one could carry on a normal conversation after that. Maifu no O, King of Hell. The head of Hell's king rose once more before it looked at the husk of Jiraiya and spat his soul back in his body. Jiraiya awoke with a jolt before the King of Hell descended again. And Naruto sighed. I shouldn't abuse my powers. I'm sorry. Jiraiya was touching his body to make sure he was alive. He felt like he'd died for eternity but no time at all. It was a weird way to explain it. He felt he'd been gone forever and somehow knew he hadn't been gone long at all. Jiraiya turned his eyes to the lion turtle he was riding on, then to the two wide-eyed medics that had been walking with him, and lastly landed on his student who stared at him with a "sorry" written on his face. Jiraiya coughed before standing and walking over to Naruto. "Kid, you're amazing, you know that." "Seriously, that's the craziest thing I've ever felt or seen," spoke Jiraiya earnestly, standing in front of Naruto. Getting the Chunnin to beam at the compliment. The man smiled too before smacking him once more with his rolled-up newspaper. After destroying a few trees, the smack sent his young charge out of sight. "You ever rip my soul out again, I'll kick your little ass. Ya hear me, brat?" Naruto's summoning growled before launching a blast of some red substance at the Sannin. Jiraiya avoided the attack and looked to see that it was red clay. Weird, but Jiraiya didn't care. His hair grew before wrapping up the turtle-lion hybrid. Crunching it, the animal snarled before dispelling. Jiraiya's hair returned to normal before the forest exploded. "Stop hitting me with that newspaper," shouted Naruto in a 20-foot circumference of bare land, having used his gravity powers to clear a path. His Rinnegan's Tomoe was spinning dangerously. "I've already beaten 2 of you 3. It was only a matter of time I faced the 3rd Sannin. Bring it on, Rinnegan or not, you're still decades too early to beat me." Tsunade and Shizune stood out of harm's way while the student and teacher had a go at it. Jiraiya was losing because Naruto was too strong even in their half-hearted fight. The Toad Sage's will was strong. He continued getting in smacks atop Naruto's head with his newspaper any time he could. Naruto hit him with a different element each time he managed to do so. It was simply marveling what Naruto could do, but, in this pissing contest, it only served to bore Tsunade and Shizune. "I'm not healing you if you're hurt too badly," informed Tsunade while Shizune nodded to confirm she felt the same way. "Ha, you'll have to heal up like normal after this ass whipping," shouted Jiraiya smacking Naruto again during the break. "I was talking about you, idiot," said Tsunade watching Jiraiya dodge a fireball before jumping at Naruto and grappling with him. The grapple turned into a headlock. Jiraiya continued smacking Naruto atop his head. Naruto shocked him with each blow but Jiraiya never relented. "Should we just keep going to Konoha? This doesn't look like it'll end any time soon." "Yes, Tsunade-sama, we should get going. We might void Hokage-sama's payment if the 2 we are supposed to help come to before we get there," replied Shizune shaking her head at the 2's fighting. "Only an hour out from Konoha too. Boys will be boys." And with that, the 2 medics walked past the scuffle and continued on their way to the Leaf Village. Jiraiya and Naruto's fight ended once the 2 were out of sight. Jiraiya, horribly singed and roughed up, held up Naruto, sporting only a knot on the back of his head from the newspaper. It seems like they forgot about the whole soul-ripping thing. "Yeah, that's good, at least. Would have sucked to explain," said Naruto, getting set down by Jiraiya. "They'll still probably ask. I'd rather answer in Konoha and not still on this road. I miss my bed. More importantly, Kakashi-sensei and Sasuke need their help." "Agreed," nodded Jiraiya before looking back at Naruto. "Anyway, you can send me back in that thing. No ass whipping will come. I saw a war babe I beat and killed that gave me the look. I'd like to see what that was about if you catch my drift." "What? Send me back to that hell thingy?" "I know you heard me." "I did. I hoped you were just kidding," informed Naruto before seeing Jiraiya was dead serious. He willingly wanted to go to hell. Something was wrong with his sensei. "No. Why would you want to go back there? It's purgatory. I just told you why, dumbass." "Warbabe was giving me the Lu-K," repeated Jiraiya, getting Naruto to frown and shake his head no. Jiraiya dropped his shoulders in defeat. He wouldn't get to see the beauty once more. The Sannin looked at the newspaper in his hand and then at the knot on Naruto's head. A sly grin grew on the man's face. He cocked back once more. THWAP. That's it. And thus, Jiraiya was once again sent to hell by his young charge. This time, happily for the most part. Naruto grumbled lowly to himself and carried the soulless body of the Sannin back to Konoha. "Wait, why am I walking?" And with that thought, Naruto vanished the short distance back home.
Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this fanfiction. What if? The Caged Bird. I will be covering part 2 as soon as this video hits 100 likes. And my ducklings, you're all dismissed. Please stay safe. This was the King of Weebs, and one little reminder: What if Naruto had the Chakra Chains of Destiny will be coming out on the 28th of February, and What if Naruto exploited the Shadow Clone Jutsu and became a god, part 1 will be re-uploaded, and there will be a full story video coming out straight after that. Anyways, my ducklings, hope you all enjoyed this wave. Please take it, stay safe. This was TheKingofWEEBs here, and peace.